Greetings, fellow. I don't know. Greetings, fellow dragon. What do you got?
Greetings, fellow Gothamites and Metropolites.
Gothamites and Metropolites. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. I'm sorry. I just completely blanked on it. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking, which may or may not be in this movie. Little teaser there, Dragon. Little teaser. Today we are going to talk about Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition, the 3-hour director's cut. God help us, because we wanted even more of this movie, Dragon.
Yes, but we wanted better of the movie, though. Let's make that clear. We wanted longer and better.
So obviously this is coming in the wake of Suicide Squad. Dragon, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of starting out being very snide and snippy with this, but I like this version a lot better than the theatrical cut. I don't necessarily think this version is what they advertised. I mean, it's certainly not like the the blood and gore and sex and violence and all that. And I don't think it needed to be.
I don't know what DC's problem is with these R ratings. They can't quite, with the exception of Watchmen. That's the only actual R-rated DC film they put out.
And you have to do an R for Watchmen. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like this could have just very easily just been a 3-hour PG-13. I mean, there's one F-bomb in the movie. One singular F-bomb. It's like you can get away with that in PG-13. I don't get it. I don't get it. But regardless, Dragon, kind of my thesis statement for this thing. It's still not a great movie. I think the main problem I have with this movie is the main problem I had with the movie the first time I saw it. That's Amy Adams. Amy Adams feels like a fucking main character in this movie, and I feel like that was a mistake. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like, I don't know. I really like Amy Adams. I feel like she's a little bit miscast as Lois Lane. I don't particularly care for her performance. We'll get into it. We'll talk about the Martha thing. I have some things to say about the Martha thing. We'll talk about it. But I digress, Dragon. My overall feelings about this is, in spite of it being 3 hours, I feel like this was a very subtle director's cut. It was a director's cut where you hardly even notice the changes some of the time. It's really more on a subtle kind of pacing level, and it basically kind of makes what felt like a total hack job mess of editing in the theatrical cut into a legitimately well-told narrative. Like, holy shit. I actually was invested in Superman's story, Dragon. Can you believe it? I actually got invested in Superman. I mean, wow. I didn't just think he was a mopey asshole in this one.
Okay.
Just kind of my final thought on this, Dragon. I feel like a lot of what Snyder was trying to do with this movie was kind of like a darker version of the typical the typical Spider-Man motif, where you have the public against Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's just kind of trying to grapple with that. But Snyder's trying to do this on a very, very grand scale, like definitely a higher stakes situation than Spider-Man, because as opposed to New York, it's the whole world that's kind of rallying against Superman. And yeah, I felt like that was very enunciated in this version. I really like some of the directions they went with it. Anyways, take it away.
Yeah. Well, with this version, I do like it better than the theatrical. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite solve a lot of problems with the movie. But I mean, I think what it does, and does well, is that it provides more context. At least you see more of what he was going for, and you get. Again, it's better, but doesn't fix anything. Again, it's giving more context, which basically solves these random edits, like why is Superman just randomly show up in Batman? So we get more context for those sort of things. But unfortunately, even rewatching it, so again, like I'm happy. My statement on this film is still the same as when I saw the theatrical version. In that, again, I like what I like in this movie. When they get stuff right, they get it so right, but. Even the stuff they do kind of more context for, it still has a lot of problems in it. We'll go through those problems, but again, enjoy what you like with this thing, folks. It still is a little disappointing. It's no Deadpool by any stretch.
Oh God, no.
Again, like basically,
I honestly think the director's kind of this is like I'm having a hard time deciding which I like better between this and Suicide Squad, because Suicide Squad was a lot of fun, but it was an editing mess, and this is a really like, honestly, I feel like when this is all said and done, this is a pretty damn well edited movie in the director's cut. But it's not that fun. It's still got the problem of like the sour and dour, like no humor DC universe thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, this version, I think, still basically, with Batman stuff, they still went a little brutal. I was hoping they were going to take some of the like the not so good Batman stuff. I think that would have improved a lot. But basically the one sequence that still makes me cringe, it's still in the film and it's in all its glory. And basically, you'll notice in this version, Snyder, he actually turned up Batman's brutality in places, which does kind of still
Snyder, you
but again, folks, the point is, like, going into it, you're not going to win any more points, but you're hoping there's going to be a little more of an explanation, which there is. So basically, like what you like in this film, folks. That's all I can tell you. The background-wise, it's very simple, if I may get into that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, folks, is because, basically a lot of expectations, anticipations go into the film in general, but what led to that was, after Man of Steel came out, which in itself was a polarizing film, Snyder and company, they were developing of course, they're going to get a sequel to Man of Steel, Superman, and we always love Superman movies coming out. It's the idea of, hey, there's going to be another Superman movie coming out. We always like to be able to say that. So, while they were developing Man of Steel 2, Snyder jokingly mentioned throwing in Batman because he's a longtime Batman fan. You look at Watchmen, you'll see some Batman references here and there, like Rorschach with the kind of the Dark Knight Returns lightning behind him. The guy's a Batman fan, of course. And it's so funny now that I think about this, because this, let's just say, the origin story of this sounds identical to the origin story of the Death of Superman comic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Basically, a guy in the back of the room kind of says, "Oh, hey, what if we did this?" And everyone's like, "Oh, he always says that." Ha ha ha.
Right.
Oh,
that rascal! You rascal, Snyder.
So basically, this guy is actually the guy in charge. So then he gets he realizes, wait a minute. Basically, they're thinking, like, who's Superman going to go up against in Man of Steel 2? Who's going to? It's another powerhouse like Zod. And then they kind of hit upon Snyder with that joking pitch of Batman. Basically, it was a joke until it hit him that Batman would be an opponent that would, be that wouldn't be two superpowers, fighting each other like Superman versus Brainiac or Superman versus Darkseid, and it would make the sequel different, give it a different vibe. And eventually, David S. Goyer, as they're writing this, he kind of dropped out of the process, and we had Chris Terrio of Argo fame come in. Kind of punched some stuff up, he took over after Goyer wanted to work on other projects and also offend a lot of people with She-Hulk comments. Well, let's table that. Anyway, so basically, Goyer left to work on this. So Chris Terrio came in, a lot of high hopes, a lot of high expectations. Again, a guy who probably worked really well. Ben Affleck is involved in the film. And the film became more Batman's movie as it went on. Then they added Wonder Woman, and then became eventually, with the addition of Wonder Woman and so on and so forth. And thinking, like, how can we they're flirting with the idea, can we kind of jump to an Avengers film within 3 films in, without having all the films, all the characters have their own films in between. So again, it's a gutsy premise. And I've always in the back of my mind wondered if Avengers would still be as effective without seeing the other films. And I would attest to it to an extent. It summarizes the films well enough you can get into it, but that's not here and there. My point is, it was a gutsy move. And basically the film became from a Superman sequel to a Justice League setup film. Needless to say, the film suffered a bit of an identity crisis, and that's really all. And everyone knows the mixed, the polarized to Rotten Tomato-y stuff this film went through. And also, before we go into, let's just keep the Suicide Squad references to a minimum, because this is before Suicide Squad. Let's just try to keep them to a minimum.
Can I make one Suicide Squad reference before we start? Just one.
Okay.
I think it was a missed opportunity to not have Will Smith in this movie as Deadshot for the sole reason that they had the Batman versus Superman billboard in I Am Legend. All right, I'm sorry. That's all I want to say about Suicide Squad.
Well, remember, maybe that's why they gave him the job. So, we don't have all the hype for Batman and Superman getting together without Will Smith. We got to thank him in some way. Let's give him a role.
Okay.
They did a great job with that role. So, moving on. Let's.
You know what else is hyped up but is not going to disappoint you?
What, Tiki? Whatever is it?
It's the Movie Machine Podcast! All right, folks, before we get into Batman versus Superman, check out what happens when you take 4 funny people and improv a movie based on a random story generator really fast. And BlueDragonFive this week is my personal favorite episode of the Movie Machine podcast because it deals with something that is very near and dear to my heart, a very nostalgic 90s property. Episode 23, What Happened to Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, that's right. They're pitching a Carmen Sandiego movie. It's a geographically themed... What?
No, go on, continue.
It's a geographically themed caper starring Kristen Ritter, Brian Blessed, and Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Featuring Jacob Gulliver, Ben Lifson, Kyle Decker, and this week's special guest, Eric Thompson. Check it out at the Movie Machine Podcast at hotchocolatemedia.net. All right.
Yeah, before we go on, we should also recap the DC's problem is that they never put commentaries on their DVDs, which is another reason we're doing this.
Exactly.
Just wanted to highlight that. I mean, DC, come on, give us some explanation, man. Come on.
All right, folks. So if you want to listen to this as a podcast, we will do our level best to have it be a running conversation that you don't necessarily have to watch the film to enjoy. But if you want to watch the film anyways, go ahead and get the Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition. Sync it up to timestamp 000. And I will go ahead and count up to 3, and then we will press play and be on our way with this 3-hour clusterfuck. You ready, Blue Dragon 5?
Yeah.
All right. In 1, 2, 3, go.
Yes, now I've mentioned extensively beforehand, I love this opening so much. It's a beautiful opening, it really is. It's kind of the definitive Batman origin, representation of the Batman origin we got here. There's a lot of the stuff in here, and importantly, it's pulled right off the page of Dark Knight Returns. I kid you not, it's mixing in 2 events from Dark Knight Returns, like the Bruce Wayne in front of the TV is having his nightmare. But you saw the animated film, having that kind of that nightmare thing. In panels, it just cut between him falling into the Batcave and the murder of his parents, and an exact pulled right off the page, put on here, and also kind of it just feels like with the magnificent score done by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. It has the resonance in it. And Snyder, above all else, as much as we might kind of pick apart the film in places, we got to give him credit. He's a visual storyteller. Oh my God, this looks beautiful.
I mean, honestly, yeah, rewatching this movie, it's a much better visual movie than Suicide Squad was. I'm sorry.
And also,
okay, so here we have Jeffrey D. Morgan and Lauren Cohen, and like I said, Dragon, this really threw me off in the theater because these two are bitter enemies in The Walking Dead, playing Thomas and Martha.
By the way, you don't see it, but just so people know, to clarify something, the Mark of Zorro, it's on the poster, but it's also on the other side of the giant marquee, so it is playing that night. It's kind of hard to see, but they wanted to also showcase Excalibur because that's kind of going up against Superman angle of the film. But it's there. It's there.
Also, Excalibur kind of represents the Dark Knight angle. That's always what I took it as, like the night thing. Dragon, I mean, I do really like this opening. I do think it's a little bit derivative just because, the whole thing, like how many times do we have to see the Waynes getting shot?
But this is like the best version of it, though. That's what I'm saying. This is like all the emotion. It's so beautiful. Look at it. I understand. Yeah. Let me walk you through this. Snyder has his way, Tiki. If I go into his films not knowing what to expect, and with Man of Steel, I had the same thing. I was like, okay, we've seen the Superman thing before. I'm going to keep my expectations in check. And then he has the birth of Superman. It catches me. Oh my God, we've rarely ever seen this moment. And then we see this thing, which we've seen 1,000 times, and he's got me again. It's like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful version of Batman origin.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think this Pearl thing is kind of overdoing it a little bit with the necklace.
Well, Dark Knight Returns is when the Pearl thing originated. That's why.
But I mean, like, do they have the whole thing, like, with the gun in between the pearls and everything?
Well, in the book, yeah, he does this thing with the gun and the pearls.
Okay.
It's like pulled
almost directly. To me, that's kind of just Snyder fulfilling his slow-mo fetish.
Well, okay, as much as I love his scenes, let me say one gag I know you're going to love, but I beg you not to turn this into a running gag. Every time I rewatch the film, just given the perception of the film, I can't help but notice Joe Chill in this version does look eerily like Snyder.
I won't turn that into a running gag, but yeah, I can see that.
But seriously, I mean, right here, it is kind of clever how they set up the Martha in this moment here, and they kind of call back to in that regard, because I like how they kind of linger on her eyes going dead after you say Martha. I mean, again, just the score and just the emotions here. Like every moment that imprints on young Bruce Wayne's mind shows up so well. And also, I love this shot right here where he looks into the back and we see Bob Kane, and finally, after many years, Batman
Bill Finger. Hell yes. Hell yes.
With Bill Finger. Bill Finger's
Yeah.
thing. Finally. On his 101st birthday, Bill Finger got a credit. And of course, we have with the flying bats, we have Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and then this is great. Now look, for everyone who always has their little nitpick of like, oh, it's so silly him being raised by the bats. Aside from it being a beautiful image, I'm going to give him this.
No, this is my favorite part of this opening. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I know it's polarizing, but I really love this image.
Yeah, because you know what it is, Tiki? It's like he's remembering being lifted out of the thing. Like Alfred, or someone putting strings down there, Alfred's like lifting him out of the thing. This is just his memory through a dream, and it looks great. And it symbolizes kind of the thing of Superman. Like Batman does not have the ability to fly, and this is kind of his kind of picturing of kind of raising the heights, it's like kind of a little bit of a slight callback to the Dark Knight. Why do we fall, Master Bruce? It's kind of like rising into kind of a hopeful light where you're gonna then realize you're actually still in the darkness.
Yeah, I mean, I think this film has one too many dream sequences, and I think the dream sequence that should have been cut was the pocket one.
There are two dream sequences, and that's all we need in this film. But we'll get there. And the other one is it's really unnecessary, but it's really cool. The other one, but we'll get there.
Okay, might I just say I really fucking love the subtitle "Mankind is Introduced to Superman." That is one of my favorite artistic choices in the whole movie, Dragon. Honestly, I think, like, if this movie would have followed up this premise more of just kind of seeing Superman from an alien point of view, you know, kind of seeing Superman almost from a Gareth Edwards Godzilla point of view. I don't know. I love this whole angle of Superman as kind of this atomic threat. What do you think?
That's interesting. When I saw it, it kind of struck me as a little bit random. It was good. It was a little bit random because I was expecting to play other chapters in the movie that are going to have that sort of thing, but it didn't. But I did like the ambiance behind that, though. I'm with you there, dude.
I wish they would have gone with other chapters. I'm with you. I wish they would have continued more with it. Yeah.
Okay, now, two things. One, whenever I talk about this film, I say my favorite part is it's both Bruce Wayne prologue scenes here.
People need to get the fuck out of the building, though. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me defend this a little bit. Everyone complains about this. Here's my defense. All right,
look, those people.
Look, they're already evacuating. All right, he's just calling to.
No, but they should have been evacuating 10 minutes ago. That's my point.
I'm just saying, you don't know when the thing started. Where we're here at. All right, okay. They're starting. It's a packed building. Point is, Bruce is calling to task the guy, make sure you oversee everyone getting out of here. It's not just, hey guys, get out of here all of a sudden. He's assuming they're on their way. He's tasking the guy to make sure everyone's out of the building. Okay, everyone get off the movie's back on that one.
Nah, I mean, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, Dragon, but.
Anyway, by the way, I do love this though. When he was just kind of driving through the buildings, I love this as a car commercial too, which I thought was awesome because I was
product placement.
Yeah, but it was a great commercial seeing that this Bruce Wayne drive. I don't know why. Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne, he's kind of dressed like the animated series Bruce with the vest, which instantly kind of visually, I love how this Bruce Wayne's dressed every scene. But I love that when he was driving through. I love how interconnected it is to the ending of Man of Steel here, and I just love seeing as the ship was going down, as Superman was fighting Zod in the Fortress of Solitude. You saw almost kill Batman. Man, that's a great thing to factor in there. All these little touches and see how interconnected it is in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all really good stuff. And again, this is a powerful moment coming up here when Jack, the guy in the building, he's kind of saying last rites to himself because he knows he's a goner. And also definitely showcase, if you didn't notice already by Man of Steel, there are a lot of casualties.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like this was very much a scene that was added in the wake of that big criticism with Man of Steel, but they pull it off really well.
I tell you though, Tika, just as a Batman fan, this scene, I was sold on it in the trailer, and just seeing it in its full glory in the film here is when he runs around the corner after the building kind of comes down here, is seeing Bruce Wayne, who in reality is Batman, run into that plume of debris and dust without a second of hesitation, because whether it's like, what is this guy? What's this guy doing? He's just going to run in there and save anyone if there's a chance of anything. He's going to run through that. Oh my God, it's such a beautiful. As a Batman fan, that is why I love that character, and he's not going to give up. He's going to run through that plume.
All right, Dragon, you're going to have to catch me up on what's been added to the director's cut, because
I'll tell you, God.
Because honestly, like the theatrical cut is a blur. All I know is that this movie plays better. But
okay, well, right here, here's the first edition. Right here, now you're gonna notice it's a nice little fleshing out here that instead of like a random little girl,
the kids holding hands.
Yes, there's like a field trip and/or a daycare in Wayne in the Wayne Financial Building, so that's why all these kids.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch. That was really haunting.
Yeah,
I love that, Dragon. I fucking love that.
That's what I'm saying.
That.
Tiki just, Tiki, welcome to my world. I love it when superheroes just have those little moments of saving people. I just love Bruce Wayne. Every chance he gets, once he's in this bloom, he's saving as many people as he can.
So a little girl is like slightly out of line in this, like slightly to the left of this line of kids, and Bruce Wayne just like takes the time to put her back in the line. Just great stuff.
And of course, this bit with more of. And of course, this bit with Wally here, we're just kind of you just see him helping this effort of other guys, just kind of help this innocent guy in the rubble here. And of course,
also I like how the field trip thing kind of explains why this girl is randomly in the middle of the damage.
Yes, and again, this is all great stuff right here. Just Bruce Wayne comforting this child, again, a child who has lost their parents, and again also specifying the mother, and you got the symbolism of the mother kind of being seated in throughout.
Yes, no. Don't prod me too much on that, Dragon. Don't prod me too much on that.
My point is, it's a really nice moment here. Again, I just love it. It's when he's clutching him and giving like Superman the bat glare, the famous bat glare.
Yes.
And of course, you know the bat glare, right? He squints down. It's always super intense thing. It can even make Superman shiver. Oh god, this is such a great way. Again, these two Bruce Wayne prologues are just the best part of the film for me. Just absolutely everything I love about the character. It's like he's saving people, and he's going through this trauma. He's doing all this sort of stuff. I love it so much. Moving on.
I mean, I honestly think if they would like this film does have a dark tone to it, but I think they should have, if they wanted to do it dark, they should have gone all the way with it and had more of the film kind of feel like that. You know what I mean?
So, well, first off, with this scene here, we get a really great look at the color palette. The color palette is now a lot brighter and a lot more diverse than Man of Steel.
Which I really appreciate, yes.
Great blues. You get to actually see the red and the blue in Superman's costume. So, I mean, the color palette does look really good in this movie compared to Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I will give Snyder all the credit in the world for the way he shoots this movie. I think as a storyteller, Snyder leaves a lot to be desired, but he's definitely immature when it comes to his visual style. Something
that was pointed out that it's an excellent point that someone did another commentary on this, not DC, someone else, and they mentioned Snyder likes to film using kind of like traditional film over digital, and it kind of
sure.
And I like that kind of distinction between DC and between Marvel. I kind of like that idea of majority of the DC films have kind of that great kind of film, kind of classic film look to them. It's kind of like, it feels like kind of a little more kind of grainy and old school method.
And I also feel like DC is kind of letting their directors have more free reign over the movies than Marvel is, and kind of letting the movies stand on their own a little bit more than Marvel.
Right. Anyway, so right here, okay, so this is added, and we get to know Jimmy Olsen a little more. And
God.
About that in a minute. But
it's not much. We enjoy it while it lasts, folks. Enjoy it while it lasts.
So look, here's what I'm saying. Right here, this you see this young man playing James Olsen here.
Oh,
see this young, he is actually a good. He strikes me as Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy.
You know
Olsen,
what? Yeah, that makes it all the worse, because it's like I think this guy would have I genuinely want to see this guy interact with Clark Kent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, I'll tell you this though. I mean, I do think Lois Lane's being a little harsh with him here. He's complaining that he's not shutting up. My point is, we'll table Lois Lane for later. My point is,
no, we're not going to take. Let's just. I'm just going to have a running tally for every time Lois Lane annoys us. I'm literally going to do that.
Well, it's going to annoy you more than me. I'm just saying this scene. I think
I am not joking. I am doing a running tally right now. Lois Lane annoying us 1.
Anyway, so Jimmy Olsen, though, again, I like that. Jimmy Olsen in the comics, Teague, and this is a running gag I think they're poking fun at least I would hope someone not Snyder is poking fun at, is that, he had all these sorts of odd jobs, and he turned in all sorts of ridiculous things. But the fact that Jimmy Olsen would be a CIA guy makes all the sense in the world. If you're gonna update Jimmy Olsen, you always give him like a weird occupation on the side. So he's a photographer first and foremost. He looks traditional like Jimmy Olsen, and on the side, CIA guy. Makes sense.
Sure.
And so again, here we actually get some additional interesting content with the general here. So again, it's making the Africa stuff believe me, it's not perfect, and I'll get into that one second. But with the Africa stuff here, they are adding kind of this great line when she's interviewing the general here. It does kind of nicely foreshadow some of our events where he says, "Men with power neither obey policy or principle, and no one is neutral." Those two lines, they really kind of foreshadow, Bruce Wayne in many respects is kind of like he's men with power neither obey policy or principle, in that he's a vigilante, he's unlawful, as Superman is looked at on that regard too. And Superman definitely is not neutral. I mean, no one is, that's directed towards him. I mean, it's directed towards Superman. And again, Superman's facing all this skepticism about his neutrality, and you're like, no one is neutral. So again, seeding in some of the ideas, I just wish they paid off more. That's the thing I'll be saying most throughout this commentary. I wish things paid off more.
Yeah, I think the real strength about this scene in terms of the director's cut is, like, the theatrical version is very much like we're rushed into the Africa setting. It's very abrupt after the Metropolis thing. Like, with this, we get a little bit of breathing room with the characters. I feel like this scene is much more tense than it was in the theatrical cut, just because they're able to linger on stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, well, let me also mention this whole Africa stuff. Now, don't worry, at the end of the day, we still probably could lose all the Africa stuff and be fine. End of the day, there's definitely a theatrical cut we could definitely lose.
I mean, I think the Africa stuff serves the purpose of setting the Superman conflict in motion. I think it serves a function. I'm honestly fine with it.
Here's the thing. I mean, the whole
reason I don't
reason
think it's the most creative thing in the world. Like, I would have rather seen something more localized, but okay, here we go. Here we go.
This ticks me off. Just
there he goes, folks.
Okay, let me tell this.
R.I.P.
Ticks me off for
Jimmy Olsen.
Two reasons.
Okay.
Reason one, why the heck did we kill Jimmy Olsen? Reason two, aside from Snyder felt like I don't want to have Jimmy Olsen movie. I'm just going to reference him by killing him off. Stupid. And importantly, second reason, how does Superman not save him?
Yeah, that's a big issue.
Lois Lane is right next to him. How does he not swoop in and save him?
I like the characterization of Superman more. I think the characterization of Superman is an improvement in this movie. The biggest problem with Superman's characterization still is that he's just got this scary devotion to Lois Lane above all other people, and it's almost kind of like he doesn't really, like, I mean, it's Lois Lane, it's Martha, and then he almost seems very disattached from a lot of other people, and I think that's a big flaw with this Superman.
Well, let me mention something here with, again, the reason it's in Africa Tig is because there's a famous Mark Waid comic, who, by the way, I've talked to, and he is not a fan of the Man of Steel series. Mark Waid, he did this great story, but basically Clark Kent's in Africa. He's kind of doing interviews and basically saving the day as Clark Kent, not Superman. And really, I think that's what they were, in some way, again, Snyder likes to homage, but screw it up. In some way, homage that here. And again, I think it would be much more effective as Lois Lane and Clark Kent in Africa, and they did a little bit of Birthright, because that would have been awesome.
If that was the case, why didn't we just have, like, Clark Kent there with Lois and Jimmy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Missed opportunity, I think. I think you can definitely have a really good Birthright reference in that regard.
You know what? Even if they did feel the need to kill off Jimmy Olsen, at least we got one scene of Jimmy Olsen interacting with Clark Kent, if that was the case.
Yeah. Anyway, also, so right here, this thing I did notice in the dark sky, and this does bother me, though. So as much as they add, there still are some problems here. It rubs me the wrong way. They really make the government the bad guy in this. They're blowing up this village, which again would have probably killed a bunch of civilians, including Lois Lane. Again, first of all, Lois Lane didn't even know she was involved in this. So they're killing an innocent person by shooting this missile towards just because they killed one of their guys, who again probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. I'm saying they're breaking rules by sneaking them in there themselves. Then they're shooting the missile that would kill an innocent person and cause collateral damage that would probably start a whole bunch of stuff, which is averted thanks to Superman, and yet Superman is on the hook for everything. Again, we get a little more explanation in that KG Beast here, or I should say not KG Beast.
Oh, dear God, that's KG Beast? I was wondering.
I told you 9 times, the Russian's KG Beast.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so... we see KG Beast and company working for Luthor here. What they're doing is they're, again, I like there's explanation for it and there's more context. At least I see what they're going for, is that, they were framing Superman by, we're incinerating these guys with the flamethrowers. Here's the problem, though. Superman's heat vision would not leave any residue, plus there's accelerant used in the flamethrowers, so really it's obvious proof that Superman did not do this, and that kind of bugs me. But the point is, I see what they're going for, and at least I get what they're going for in this version. Before
Also,
we
I
had no
really,
idea why they thought Superman was behind it.
I just think it was kind of dumb on Snyder's part. Just like the first thing we see Superman do essentially is like crash through a bunch of buildings.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this though, with Superman though, look, in the animated series and everything, what just in general they do. Superman, when he does a sort of move like that, like his head will serve as a battering ram, so the person will be unhurt.
Mm.
You know, but look, in this version, one wall I'll give the guy a pass. He's in a body cast, but he's alive. 2 walls, he's dead. Come on.
Right.
I'm just saying, like the second wall is where I draw. Like, come on, one line. I'll give him 1 wall, not 2. Notice we're starting the bullet subplot here.
Okay.
See how that goes. But again, at least I'm saying the Africa stuff has more purpose in this. And they make it more necessary. And so I'll give you that to you. They make it more necessary in this version. Just the other theatrical cut is completely unnecessary, though.
Yeah, the theatrical cut, it's basically like, what the hell are we doing here? Wait, why did they just kill Jimmy Olsen? What the hell? You know.
However, if you pull the string of the Africa thing, however, in either version, if you pull the Africa string too much, you're going to see it doesn't really still make much sense.
Sure.
If you pull the string. I'm saying don't pull the string. Anyway, so we have Holly Hunter kind of letting us down a little bit in this movie.
Really? I think she's okay.
It's not on her. It's on the writing. I'm saying on their characters, not her. I mean, her performance, she's doing the best she can. I'm not crazy about how she's. I'm still not crazy about how she's written in this movie.
I mean, I honestly feel bad for her more than anything else.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I feel bad for the actress. Now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I love these little radio and little code references. So Delta Charlie 27 is DC 27, Batman's first appearance.
Nice.
And later on, we're gonna have like some numbers that do signify first appearances for other characters. So right here, this is kind of because a little GCPD reference. Want to jump on that? It's that. This is a big football game that Clark Kent's going to be reporting on later on, you and I are speculating way before it was always going to be a Cyborg's origin during this scene, but
I'm surprised it wasn't.
yeah, it seems like a random football obsession.
yeah.
But I think what they're getting at here is that the GCPD may not be corrupt, but they're either getting a little complacent with Batman, or they're just like we still have some laziness in the GCPD. Not corrupt, not as much corruption as we've seen in the other Batman films. I think that's what they're kind of showcasing in that little bit there. Which we'll see how J.K. Simmons deals with that.
I can't wait to see some J.K. Simmons footage. I'm really looking forward to that.
And again, we have like kind of our 2 cops here, our setup of kind of the seasoned cop and the kind of the young rookie, very much like Dark Knight Returns, and the scene where they go into kind of almost an abandoned building and their Batman's there. These men are mine, sort of thing. A little reference to Returns there.
Oh yeah.
And this is great. This you can instantly go in there with only a flashlight. We see the batarang in the wall, and we're coming down here. We're seeing these terrified sex trafficked women just saying, says no, let us in. Of course, the cops don't understand them, but the idea that I love how this Batman's played like kind of the scarier urban legend. I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. That was such a great choice. I love this Batman outside of the one scene that we're gonna get into, Dragon, but. I genuinely feel like this shot is creepy, like super creepy when we see Batman like perched up there in a second.
We have just this segment of film here. It really showcases kind of there is like a Dark Knight Returns vibe to this Batman in many regards. Like he's permeated Gotham, and it was like Gotham knows the word Batman's in the dictionary practically. Like the guy is a legend at this point. He's been in Gotham for 20 years. He's made his mark. People know him. Like it's like they know like when something's off the bat. I'm like, oh yeah. So you do not want to mess with this guy. And I like at this point the GCPD, at least the seasoned cops, they have a respect for Batman because again he's kind of doing their jobs for him, which might be hurting a little more than helping. But the point is, Batman, the police have a good relationship at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have this this poor schlub who has the Bat brand on him, and no, it doesn't say Bat prisoner. To quote Captain Logan.
Oh God.
Or Rasco, whichever one said that. Oh yes, here's the shot. Here we go. This is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped the gun on it a little, but.
Yeah, but seriously, you're right though. Again, this screams Dark Knight Returns.
It's so creepy. It's so creepy.
Oh yes. I do think the guy's a little too trigger happy though.
Well,
Christ!
he's the first of many characters that are going to be a little trigger happy in this movie. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. But again, this line here says, "Stop trying to shoot the guys." It shows the GCB do have a reverence for Batman, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the realization that he's branded him. So I'm figuring I'm going to get this a little later on because the branding will come back a little more in this this version. That with the Bat brands, basically Batman after 20 years, he's so embittered, he's so kind of miserable. He's basically taking his anger on the people that are real scumbags. You know, he's like basically it's a Batman. He's gotten so tired and so grizzled after. This guy's a sex trafficker, so a part of you wants to brand the guy. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. We get some.
Okay.
Wasted R-rated.
Mark it down. Mark it down, Dragon.
Can I?
Lowest obligatory sexualization for no fucking reason.
Anyway.
She is the worst. She is the worst. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, we have some wasted R-rated material here, where again they really sold you on the Lois Lane in the bathtub in the movie because that was a big unnecessary thing. But again, unnecessary thing. It's not that it's taken out, but I would expect with an unnecessary R rating, they were going to at least showcase a little more, and they didn't.
Nope.
I'm just saying, again, we have unnecessary nudity, but it's not the one we would expect. I mean, she's already, primed and ready for it. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to force that. I'm just saying, literally, come on. You expect there to be a transition from in and out of the tub. I don't know.
Oh, God. And I'm sorry, man. Like, I really don't think... I enjoy Henry Cavill as Superman for the most part. I think there's a couple bits of his performance that are a little off, but I don't buy these two chemistry at all. I really don't. I think these two have really bad chemistry with each other. I just
think it's the writing in this film that really kills their dynamic. But I think, Amy Adams, I did like her in Man of Steel, and I do think they have chemistry in that movie. And I think they're trying to recatch it with the kind of the lines in the dialogue they got here. It's like doesn't lend itself to, because think about it right now. Take a look at this. They're kind of having this conversation. It's like a thank you for saving my life, but it's more so like, hey, I'm worried about the future. It's just not exactly no romance in there until it's really forced in the end. But that's
the thing about them in this movie is like, it feels like they're miserable with each other. It's like they barely have any joy on their faces whatsoever and I get that it's a dire movie. I get that it's dire circumstances. But these two just seem fucking miserable in each other's company.
Well, I'm saying in general, I'm saying hold it against this movie, just don't hold it against...
Look at that face. Look at that dour-ass face.
Yes, I'm just saying in this movie, it's not so good. I'm saying in general, don't hold it against her. Because I think they do have chemistry. It's not showcased in this movie at all.
I was a big fan of Amy Adams. I'm sure she's very talented. I've not been a big fan of her last couple performances. I'm sure she can still hit it out of the park, but American Hustle, I wasn't crazy about. This, I'm not. Oh God, I'm just gonna mark this down. That's two moments in this movie for me. Yeah.
I will say this: just him fully clothed in the tub is kind of funny, but then they kind of. Again, they're saying it's kind of ridiculous funny, that's all. And this is unnecessary. Again, all the unnecessary nudity. Again, primed and ready in the tub. Anyway, sorry, I'm lingering on that.
And also, they're making a mess.
Yeah, come on.
Seriously, all that water on the floor, that could lead to mold.
The Batcave I love the lighting. It's just when he comes down there, it's like this great lighting. I love everything about this Bruce Wayne concept here. And again, basically, I love 80% of the Batman stuff. 80% is great. But there's a whopping 20%, which we'll get to later on. I really had problems with. Point is, I think there's a great atmosphere in the Batcave here. We have an excellent Alfred here. Jeremy Irons' Alfred is his perfection. He's great.
I would wager to say Irons. I don't want to say he's the best Alfred, but I think he has the potential to be with another movie or two.
But he was superb. He's got the great snark. He also has a bit of the Dark Knight Returns Alfred. He's 20 years into it. In this version, he's 20 years into it, and he's he has more alcoholism barbs at Batman, saying, "Yeah, you're drinking awful lot, aren't you?"
Right.
But again, I like also the way Jeremy Irons plays Alfred in this movie. Rewatching, it's kind of getting ready for this. Is that he's really he's kind of, it's like Alfred who feels that he's failed, on some level, just kind of watching his master kind of destroy himself at this point. So it's kind of a tragedy for Alfred in these aspects.
Yeah, I hear you.
Also,
I mean, one of the things I like about Alfred, though, is he does bring a little bit of a levity to the movie, which is needed.
Absolutely.
Because
I'm saying it's Alfred realizing he's failed, just kind of saying,
Sure.
okay, well, remember, you could be like this. Not really. That sort of thing. He's just kind of making all these barbs like, maybe a young woman in Metropolis will make you honest. Not that likely, Alfred. All these funny little barbs there. And of course, he's calling into question the Batman. Again, this Batman's so embittered at this point. He's just taking out his rage on people. And also, I like there are a few little references to Phantasm that has to be chosen specifically for Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Come on.
Of course.
As a little reference. I'm not saying they're saying Phantasms in this universe. I'm just saying, Phantasm. So again, just basically Alfred's just bearing witness to Bruce's downward spiral. I guess less failures, more he's just witnessing his master kind of go through a really dark period right now. He just serves as kind of that great kind of Greek chorus for Bruce Wayne. That's what Alfred does, just saying, yes, you're doing this, you're doing this. I'm not going to stop you, but I'm just commenting on it. But again, with a little bit of Alfred snark to it.
This guy is a fucking enigma, man. Enigma. Giant enigma.
Well, he's not what everyone thought. Everyone says he'd be more well suited for an enigma, let's say.
I'm not trying to make a pun here. I think enigma is the best word for this performance, all right?
I like the Titano, the super monkey reference on his shirt, though. There's a giant monkey in the Superman comics. I think they're referencing with that. I could be wrong, but I'm saying it's really coincidental. It's Metropolis, might as well.
I think Eisenberg is having a fucking ball in this movie. I think he's super entertaining in this movie. He is not Lex Luthor. Not even close. Not even close to Lex Luthor in this movie.
And here's something the director's cut does do. The Ultimate Edition does do. Is, they have more references to his father, which is not, folks. We want development on this guy. Just referencing his father over and over again is not development. That's just reminding us of the problem. Okay, he's got a father, and he's named after him. And whole checks for Lex thing, it's a clever line, but we need to do stuff with it, folks. We need to do stuff with it. I will say this. There is a great missed opportunity with this Luthor. Here's a great line that was in the theatrical cut too. It's like he mentions, this idea of Lex, little Lex Luthor here, Alexander Luthor Jr. growing up, seeing his father, wave flowers to tyrants, and the idea that Lex would hate dictators, or the possibility of a dictator being Superman. That would be a great thing to pursue. And that would be why he's so bent on seeing Superman not become super powerful, because hypocritical Lex would become superpower and want to become a dictator, and that'd be like the hypocrisy of Lex Luthor. That could be cool stuff, but we don't see any of that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm super mixed on this performance.
Here's the thing, folks.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, do you deny that it's a lot of fun?
I don't think it's that fun, actually.
Really? Okay. Well, I think it's pretty fun.
I saw the potential of Eisenberg, because a lot of people were instantly down on Eisenberg. You were the big champion of Eisenberg, but I mean, I saw Eisenberg, and I could buy him as the smartest guy in the room with the smart mouth and rapacious wit. I could see him as that, and that would be very consistent with Luthor. It'd be unconventional, but it could be cool. And we didn't. But they made him too crazy and quirky over kind of being the smart. We don't see him earn his credentials. We just see him. Exactly. I mean, I'll admit there was a piece there. I mean, basically, when I saw this film in school. Yeah, I hate the Jolly Rancher bit. I will say this. I do think this is a well-edited sequence right here where he's kind of making the deal here, just saying, what's your wish list done? And then we kind of cut to this thing. However, as much as I love the score, I do love Luthor's score here, but I think it's the way it's edited in this right here when he's walking into the facility. It's a little over the top, because every footstep's a piano key.
Yeah.
Basically, this is like the homage to Big right here. And I hate how baggy his suit is. I hate how baggy his suits are. I think it's stupid. Look at his pants here. It's stupid.
You know me, Dragon. I think it was a mistake to give Lex hair to begin with. I think Eisenberg really... just in order to differentiate Eisenberg's appearance, he should have shaved his head.
I mean, look, what I really thought they were going to... I thought they were going to do like a wig thing where he's trying to look like kind of the social media kind of pioneer guy on the surface, but deep down he'd take the wig off and he'd be like all ticked off and antisocial, and he'd actually be doing Luthor-like stuff behind the scenes.
I would be really down for that, too. That was another missed opportunity with this guy.
I like bits like this are like bits where I'm starting to see the Eisenberg thing where he says, and the aliens... And the alien's body, you want Zod's body? Oh yeah, sure, him too, because he's thinking I want Superman's body when I kill him. And like this right here, like this is a good Luthor bit right here. When he has like the cool lab jacket on, he's like wheeling the guy in, he's a little overconfident. That's Luthor. That's mad scientist Lex Luthor. That's okay. I'm saying, yeah, bits like that in there. I really warmed up to Luthor later on with the wheelchair plot. That's when I started to get Luthor, because when I was watching the movie, I was like looking at him like he was an eye chart. It's like I don't know what to make. Like this bit right here, the Jolly Rancher, but I had no idea what to make of this guy. Because at least with the wheelchair thing later on, he actually shaped up. See, with the wheelchair thing later, at least that sounds like classic Lex Luthor at first, before things kind of went off the rails with jars. We'll get there. But again, the concept of things later on.
Close up on Henry Cavill's nipples, because we really need that, right?
Well, they need to distract from the fake eggs he was cooking.
Yes,
so this lady, I believe she's an addition. Well, I know she's a big addition for this, but I think in this scene too, she's added. Kahira. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, she's pretty much the biggest, like, cohesive addition to the movie in terms of, like, she's basically an additional subplot that gets pretty much completely added to it that wasn't in the theatrical version.
And again, it provides more context and makes the Africa stuff more necessary. And again, it's not the worst thing, but it helps the movie, which is important. So again, she helps kind of massage the Africa stuff a little bit more. And then right here, now again, Tiki, I told you beforehand, everyone thought this guy was going to be Jimmy Olsen, and that would have been a cool idea. That kind of the embittered guy it's not embittered. I mean, the guy who lost his legs befriending Clark Kent. Clark be constant reminder. Clark.
That would have been a really good use of Jimmy Olsen.
And that was the other. I was really hoping for that idea, because again, I was just thrilled that oh my god, we might actually have a Jimmy Olsen, not Jenny Olsen, because that was a waste.
So we'll talk about Jenny Olsen.
And here, he's a bigger waste because he's killed off. I mean, I gotta tell you though, even this version, even if Jimmy Olsen wasn't bitter, that also could have been played interesting. Like, oh my god, this guy really hated Superman, and ended up being his best friend later on.
Exactly.
I'm saying that could have been a direction to go. But again, the score is really good here, as we'll probably be saying throughout, and they really went to town the details of this statue, because I mean, look at all the Kryptonian language on his costume is also on the statue.
Right.
It's an amazing level of detail in that statue. It's all menacing too.
I think just in general, this score is fairly underrated. This is my favorite of the Hans Zimmer scores, like with the exception of maybe the original Dark Knight score.
Well, remember, he went on a high note with this score. This is the last score he's doing for a superhero.
Sure, definitely. I don't know. I just I am a big fan of his Superman theme. I think nothing is going to be the John Williams Superman theme, but I think he did a good job differentiating himself.
Yeah, he is a great Man of Steel theme. Sure. So again, like right here is where I think you're kind of hitting that with the Clark Kent stuff. Now, I think it's still the same upon the movie, but I just think you're a little open to what I've been saying about the theatrical cut, which is it's expanded upon more in this film. It's still the same thing. You see him feel bad about it. You see him be a little more proactive, which is good. But you see. He just doesn't know how to feel about a lot of these things, but unfortunately still doesn't quite do things about how he's feeling. He feels really conflicted. And he plays conflicted and down on his luck very well, because you feel bad for he conveys that you feel bad for the guy.
Right.
Because he's in a no-win situation, and a little later on we get to the scenes everyone's talking about, and we'll get to that. But
and I feel like they portray the no-win situation a lot better here. Like they portray kind of like the walls closing in on Superman. That's one of the additions to the director's cut that I really liked.
Like for instance, right here, he's being proactive. He saw the lady talking about him on the TV, saying, my family was killed by Superman, and now Superman doesn't. Now, technically, here's what's so interesting about this in the subplot is that he knows, okay, she's lying, and he's going to investigate and ask her why she's lying about Superman. He's trying to get to the bottom of it, like a good reporter, but she's not there. Again, the mystery's starting to form. However, here's the issue, though. Unfortunately, re-examining, I kind of forgot about the little negative thing here. Is that he completely forgets about the lady, and he then is now obsessed with Batman.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a problem, but again, I kind of respect kind of what got us there, though. That okay, he was actually doing something proactive about his situation, find why that lady was lying about him.
This is definitely going to be a reoccurring thing with the movie, just like really good ideas that aren't built upon.
Yep. And again, I do love the idea of Clark Kent investigating Batman, which, again, unfortunately, those two subplots just kind of completely coalesce at the wrong times, though. Yeah.
Exactly.
Looking
Yeah.
into the lady and then looking in the Batman, forgetting completely about the lady because the lady is the big framing point of view. So, man, you've been framed by this woman. Okay, this is great here, kind of the underground fight club of Gotham. This is neat. Back, I remember thinking about this is going to be the Penguin's cameo, but it was kind of poo-pooed upon. But I think that was still really cool. Again, I love he gave the guy fighting tips, and they just instantly took down the other guy. It's really awesome. And again, wasted KGB here.
Oh god. I can't even believe that's the same guy. I can't even believe that's supposed to be KGB's.
That's ridiculous. You saw Assault on Arkham. That's his name. Yep. You saw like a little title card, like Anatoly something or other. That's him. Which bugs the crap at me is why
he's such a pretty boy.
Here's the thing. I don't mind that he's a pretty boy. What kills me is that he uses a flamethrower instead of a giant gun. He's supposed to use a giant gun. Like big cable-sized gun. That's what he's supposed to use.
To be fair, Dragon, I think maybe one less gun in this movie isn't such a bad thing.
But either that or make him Firefly, something.
Okay, I love this. I love frickin' Perry White in this movie. I think
Lawrence Fishburne is still knocking out of the ballpark as Perry White. And we have cheap Perry White, which we love from Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
And again, now this is kind of Superman's issue that's being brought to the forefront here. A little bit of this is added too, by the way. A smidge. It's like him saying, like, Perry, when you sign a story, you're deciding who matters. And again, that's Superman's conflict, deciding who matters. Because to Superman, everyone matters, but apparently he has to pick sides according to what the government wants him to do.
Right.
And also, by the way, I just want to mention this is kind of the reason Clark Kent's taken on sports randomly, aside from the fact that we needed a reason for him to get over to Gotham in this version, is the actor, I assume the actor that plays Steve Lombard, who was in The Man of Steel. Remember the guy who was helping get Jenny Olsen out of... Sorry. Yeah, everyone calls her Jenny Olsen because she is not Jenny Olsen. Get Jenny No Name out of the rubble.
Oh, God.
To get Jenny No Name out of the rubble, that was the sports guy, and he's on House of Cards. He plays the Frank Underwood's right-hand guy in that show, so he was unavailable for this film, I guess, because he was shooting House of Cards. So they had an opening, I guess. Say, hey, Kent, you're on sports. The other guy called him sick. And again, I like this. This I do like. This is a great addition here, where Perry White's pointing out that, you got like a request from some old society. You got a request to cover the opening of the library at Luthor's place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because again, it's probably some old society crown as a thing for nerds. Again, I love how disparaging it is to Clark. Perry White. It's not like the classic Perry White has a liking to Clark Kent in this version.
Exactly.
It's like he really covers up his fine. It's like he is fine to Kent, but he's like not going to show it at all. This Perry White.
Okay, I've got to admit, man, I think this Luthor and the Senator dynamic is fairly interesting.
I'll tell you my problem is. I'll tell you my big problem with it is, Tiki, is that I don't understand why she's not at least entertaining his side of things. Because she's not. Like in the beginning, you think having a deterrent for Superman, again, not a weapon, which she could maintain. Having a deterrent against someone who's all-powerful is something absolutely the government will do. It's just what anyone will do, just in case this all-powerful force that you have no line of defense against. And again, she's saying we don't know what to make of Superman. You think absolutely she would at least entertain the notion.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's the big plot hole of why the heck is Luthor asking for an export license when you can just sneak it in somehow? Like why is he trying to? He's trying to go through the channels there, but you just basically bring up the idea of, hey, would you guys like a deterrent of some kind? And
again, I don't really like the writing, but I do like the acting in this scene.
And I'll tell you what bugs me. You're right. The acting in the way he conveys kind of the whole red capes are coming thing is pretty good.
Red capes are coming.
At a left field though, because I'll tell you why. This doesn't strike me as Luthor, and that Luthor would. He would just try to sell her on. He wouldn't just kind of go with a random story that's not going to help sell her on this idea at all. I think actually real Lex Luthor would actually be able to sell her on the idea, saying, well, if this happens and this happens, you actually might need a deterrent for Superman. Okay, I'll think about it. Yeah, I think the scene wouldn't go with Luthor if he just sees, if you see Luthor as kind of the ultimate deal maker, the guy who's the CEO of a company, the guy who actually knows how to sell stuff.
I'd really love the violins in Luther's score.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a really good touch.
Yeah, and again, he's making all the sorts of Daddy Luthor references, which are just kind of
Right.
okay. Now this is great. Now look, I'll admit, it's kind of unnecessary, but it's really cool though. It's a really cool dream sequence.
It gives us an excuse to close in on the Martha name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me, out of all, I would take the opening dream sequence. I would take this dream sequence. That's all I'd have in terms of dream sequences. That's all I would have.
Yeah, we'll get to the Podcast one. I think the Podcast one was unnecessary.
Just remember, the big one that is the big one's technically not a dream sequence, but they make it look like a dream sequence later on. So we'll get into that. But yeah, this is a great scene. It's shot very well. Again, Per Snyder, per score, it's all great stuff. And again, the fact that Martha's grave is bleeding here, it's decent foreshadow. Again, decent focus is being subtly drawn to Martha there.
Oh God!
We have like the weird black blood here.
I don't care how much foreshadowing they give Dragon. I just want to make that clear. I don't give a shit how much foreshadowing there is.
Yeah. But I do love this coming up when he wakes up. I just love seeing his environment. Bruce Wayne's kind of surrounded. It's kind of a lonely. I love how kind of gray and dark the atmosphere is with Bruce Wayne's life. So we see him haunted by Batman in his dreams. But as Bruce Wayne, he's sleeping with random women. He's popping pills and drinking.
Really quick, what do you think of the people that think that was just a Man Bat cameo?
Wishful thinking.
Right.
But right here, see how he was chasing pills with alcohol, and but again, get some great shots here. See how kind of lonely and just kind of distant this Bruce Wayne is. He's going by the windows, kind of looking down like this. Again, beautiful settings here. Great production design on this film too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love kind of like the glass wall Batcave, and he's living kind of this place off to the side of Wayne Manor. Basically, when Wayne Manor kind of blew up and/or caught on fire, he built this place on the side, so he can keep the Batcave because he just want to relocate the Batcave. Basically, he relocated the Batcave, but not that far, putting like a little glass thing, unless there was the same Batcave. I don't know. But it's a great design. It's on the water. It's kind of to the side of Wayne Manor. It's pretty cool. And I love here that Alfred is again. You see Alfred's wit, and it constantly thought, I hope the next generation of Wayne doesn't inherit a wine cellar. Assuming there is a next, right? Like there's likely to be a next generation of Wayne. Oh, that's weird stuff. I like that this is Alfred's attempt, as Alfred always tries to do, especially in the Lego Batman movie coming up. Tries to get Bruce out of the darkness. Trying to get him out of the Batman persona, so they can make him do stuff as Bruce Wayne. And it's a reminder. It's Alfred would do. He's just trying to be that light in Bruce's life, even though he thinks it's kind of a losing battle at this point. It's like, Bruce Wayne got the answers. You've been invited to the place. Don't break in. And this scene is really great here, where he looks at the Batsuit. At first, I thought it was random. All the director's kind of clarifies to me. I'm just rewatching, I guess, is that it's kind of a reminder. Looking at the Batsuit is a reminder of why he does this thing, a reminder of the trauma and being Batman. But when he looks at the Robin suit here, which is a nice little reference. Looking at Jason Todd's suit here, it's a reminder of why he shouldn't, which is why he's not putting on the Batsuit. That's what I kind of read it as.
Dragon, what's that spear thing that's in the Robin hands?
Yes, that is. We went over this in our pitches.
Oh, wait, really quick. We have to pause for Affleck ass.
God. Again, we could have had Amy Adams in a tub, but we have the.
You know what? I'm totally down for both. Just have it be an equal opportunity.
No. Here's what I mean. No, it's not equal opportunity that's bothering me. Here's what's bothering me though. It's completely random. Why is there a shower in the Batcave? Like just random. Why is he not using the Wayne Manor?
He's getting ready to go to the party.
Why isn't he using the Wayne Manor bathroom though? It's completely random. Why is he in the Batcave?
Obviously that was a pivotal shot in the movie, Dragon. That just kind of like puts all the pieces in place.
All right. Just aside from the random shower. But... Okay, my point. What was I? All right, so Robin. Yeah, we talked about this in the pitch, Tiki. Is that Snyder basically instead of giving Robin a bow staff, he wanted to make it look a little edgier. So he gave him like a broken spear, like basically it's a bow staff with like a blade on the end of it. It's kind of broken though.
Okay.
And there is actually some speculation going on. Now, I'm not saying that to take this too seriously, folks. I'm just saying that in Suicide Squad, there's a little thing where Harley Quinn claims credit for killing Robin.
Oh, huh.
So So there's a theory that either she's just lying to take the heat off Joker, or whatever. But point is, joke's on you, Batman. A clown did kill Robin, and most likely the Joker. So, but we'll see going forward. Maybe it was both of them in the room at the same time. I don't know.
Okay.
There's a theory going around. This one entertained. But again, mostly Joker. I mean, come on, it has to be Joker. Anyway, I love. There's a little subtle bit here where Luthor. First of all, I love a lot of this scene here where Bruce Wayne's kind of acting kind of as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. He's going down the stairs. He has Alfred in his ear. Superman's hearing. This is how you do like a Bruce Wayne and Superman meeting for the first time. They're kind of overhearing. What is this guy?
We're about to get to the bar none. I think the best Bruce Wayne moment in the movie. Nice. I'll point it out when we get to it.
But by the way, I love that when Luthor's saying, Zeus, then throw a lightning bolt. Shoom! I love Wonder Woman's rolling her eyes because she was brought to life by Zeus.
Yes.
So again, this is a clever thing.
Right here. This is the best Bruce Wayne moment in the movie.
Well, again, him running into the plume of dust. But, yeah.
No, I don't know. I love this performance though. I think this is such an inspired choice to have Ben Affleck play drunk.
Yes, and again, it feels like classic Playboy Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely. See, yeah.
But here's what sells it, Tiki. Just the minute after he says, "I like those shoes," which is such an Affleck line, by the way. I like
His
those
face
shoes.
just slips. His face slips, and that's one of the things that I really love about the Affleck performance is these really subtle changes on his face. Dragon. One of the things about the Martha scene that'll give you credit for is that for a very brief moment, Affleck's performance sells me. All right, we'll get to it when we get to it, but I don't know. I really love Affleck's kind of subtle facial expressions. Anyways,
and here's a gag. This Luthor. There's a gag. The movie. The Honest Trailers guys did, which is absolutely on the money, and I would have liked to see infinitely more than this Eisenberg Luthor. We have some painful Lex bits here. We're saying that's paradox. He's basically losing his whole speech in front of everyone here. Where basically Max Landis would have been a better Lex Luthor in this movie. I'll admit.
Oh my god! Oh Jesus Christ!
Because people have said in that they've used that clip by him doing the speech. That is Max Landis-esque, yes. And I think it's like this. But seriously, I would just prefer Max Landis have wrote this movie though, because Max Landis is such a good writer and such a good pitchman. Anyway,
I hear that I went to my comic book shop and they said that the Max Landis run of Superman was coming out, I believe, in October in collected form.
Yep, and I hear that he's trying to do a sequel book featuring Batman, which should be cool.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyways, we should not talk over this.
Point is, this is a great scene, folks. It was in the trailer. Oh my God, such two powerful performances, right? Especially, kind of our aged Bruce Wayne kind of educating Clark Kent on the ways of Gotham.
Oh yeah.
And again, they don't know who each other are at this point. I love that Luthor does. This in the rewatch is like a really great thing where Luthor's like trying to get his shots in, coming up where he's like he can actually slap Superman on just this guy. In fact, he knows who these two guys are, and of course
Dragon. You saw me when I saw this moment in the trailer. I fell in love with Luthor right here.
Yeah. And again,
I still think there's a lot of problems with Luthor, but moments like this are really great still. And
again, overconfident Eisenberg Luthor, when it worked. Again, he's overconfident here. He knows all the angles, and again, kind of commenting on Bruce there. It's like some fun stuff. I also have that familiarity of Lex. Bruce knows who Lex Luthor is. He just doesn't care for the guy at all.
Right.
Just like loosely trying. And also, I know we talked over is again like the whole must be the Gotham City in me. We don't take well freaks dressed like clowns. Such a good line. I'm sorry, such a well delivered line by Ben Affleck. And also, I just want to give her credit while she's here. Of course, you remember from the animated Batman Superman movie I showed you, Mercy. That is
sure.
right hand woman there, and unfortunately, again, good actress too. She was Mariko in the Wolverine movie. Really good actress. And she's just so wasted in this movie that she doesn't get to do any cool stuff. She's around and she's nice, but. Again, you saw how awesome Mercy was. Mercy's his Harley Quinn. She does all the fighting for him. She doesn't have to do anything.
Right. I mean, to be fair, I think I think it's nice to see the character, and maybe we just had one too many people involved in action sequences.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, I wish we had a little more purpose with her, though. He didn't have to fight. Oh, I love this. This is giving Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman some instant chemistry here. That they're definitely have a good rapport, a good dynamic, and. in the animated series, Justice League animated series specifically, I was always kind of one of the shippers of this, I suppose. Batman and Wonder Woman did get together in that show, and it was really awesome. And I was kind of wondering if they were going to go that way in this movie because they were dancing in they were in the scene later on together. A lot of people speculating based on the trailer. So I'm not saying that's going to happen in this universe because she has Steve Trevor, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But
right.
I like the fact that they entertain the notion of these two they do have fun with each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I feel like this montage is probably the most interesting visually.
Well, first of all, I love the Dark Knight Returns-esque commentary of all the people commentating over Superman, kind of doing these awesome heroic save moments here.
Right? Yeah.
And again, I love out of context. I think these saves they're awesome. And again, I like and this is what we respect in the trailer a lot. Is just these moments of this kind of Superman looking like he's not sure how he feels about being worshipped like a god or being looked to as kind of the savior figure. And that's again very interesting way to go into a movie. Again, the Superman dealing with this. We don't see him deal with it though. We don't see the solution to this. I mean, but
I really love this music too.
Of course, and the melancholy version of the Superman theme.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Hans Zimmer Superman theme. And the idea here is that, and this is a great idea to work with. Again, I wish we did more with it, and that's the recurring thing, is that the idea is Superman in the modern world, basically as he's doing all these great heroic things he's being talked about over this sequence in a negative manner. So the idea is Superman in the modern world of cynics and skeptics that we do live in. This is how Superman actually would be perceived in the world for the most part, is that, people can't believe in someone trying to do the right thing as we classically know Superman for. It's the idea Snyder's flirting with here, is that they all look to the negative implications first before they might entertain the idea of, hey, a flying man in the sky is going to help us out. That's awesome. No one's entertaining that notion. It's all gloom and doom with well, what if this guy turns on us? With all the property damage. What if they can not even mention property? And it leads to a really stressed out Superman. We see at the end here, the way Henry Cavill kind of turns his head and it's like everyone hates me. Those are your Spider-Man moments you're talking about. So when he turns his head, why did I get out of bed this morning? Everyone
we're like one step away from seeing the iconic comic book panel of the Superman suit in the trash can and Clark Kent walking away. You know what I mean?
This is what I've been saying, even in the theatrical cut, Tiki, which is it's better explained in this version. Yeah, but still, your heart goes out to Superman. In these parts of you see the guy's just trying, he just can't win, and you root for him, but again, there's just nothing done with this. You don't see a happy ending for this. You don't see any positivity. You don't see Superman smile at all. He's going through such a miserable experience. I mean, there's no hope in Superman's thing. You're just doing the thing because he knows whatever he does, it's not going to be perceived as oh, thank you, Superman. You saved my life. None of that. It's all everyone. He just knows the minute he saves someone, everyone's going to be looking at him and says, why did you save him? And why did you not save this continent over here? It's all this.
You know what? I just realized this, but do you think in a way that's kind of like a meta commentary on the reaction to the Man of Steel finale?
In some ways, maybe. Again, I just think thematically it's, it is kind of in the real world how we would perceive a guy like Superman these days. I think you or I, or your average Joe will say, "Oh man, Superman's cool," but then of course the bigger implications by your big minds of the world, like we saw with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Everyone's going to be wondering what the implications are. It's a sad state, and that's. Snyder did nail that one on the head. That's how the world would perceive Superman in the bigger context. I wish there was more of those. I really wish we did get to see kind of the down to earth, people being, happy with Superman.
All right, so let's talk about Martha.
And this is nice. I thought, again, I love this though. Superman. It was added for the director's cut, him calling his mother and saying, "Oh, hi." And instantly, she knows, okay, something's up.
I honestly think Diane Keaton absolutely nails it out of the park with Martha Kent.
Oh, yeah. There we have Jenna Malone, not as Barbara Gordon, but as lab tech for Kelly. Or Carrie Kelly, but as lab tech from Star Labs, who will most likely be in the Cyborg movie and/or Justice League.
Well, let's not get crazy. Let's not get too carried away with the Cyborg movie just yet.
Well, the point is, Star Labs is tied in Cyborg and Flash.
I think we'll probably get a Teen Titans movie before we get a standalone Cyborg movie.
Well, no, we already have a Cyborg movie okayed. I'm just saying.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Believe me, I don't want a Cyborg movie. I'm just saying we're getting the Cyborg.
I'm just saying it seems like it could be good. I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Get Ryan Coogler in to direct it. the Creed guy.
Well, look, he's got his hand. He's doing Black Panther, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Let's see how that is first. I mean, the guy's great. Let's see what he does first.
Anyways.
Anyway, so again, now
I
we're
love this idea, though. I love the idea that the Bat brand is kind of like for a specific kind of criminal. I'm assuming for the sex crime criminals, right?
Yeah, for like I'm talking about your child murderers and your rapists and your
right.
Basically, the worst of the worst get the Bat brand. That's the idea. The ones that piss Batman off the most get the Bat brand.
And I kind of like the idea that Batman himself doesn't kill the people. Well, I mean, let's table that for a second. But, I like the idea that he kind of lets the prison system do the justice for him.
Yeah, which, again, let's put a pin in that. I have stuff to say on that. But right now I want to talk about, again, this is where Luthor started to click. I've seen what they were going for with this Luthor, at least what I thought they were going for with this Luthor. I like this. This is like classic Luthor, where Luthor absolutely would take a guy off the street who has a vendetta against Superman. He would give that guy power in some capacity, saying, "Hey, you can stand up to Superman in public forum. You are absolutely in the right. No one can look at you different. I'm going to give you a chance to stand up to Superman," which Luthor would benefit from. So, hey, people are looking at Superman with a less savory eye. That's exactly what I want, which will play into my hand. This is absolutely a Luthor move. I love this. But unfortunately, it kind of goes a little south. But we'll get to that south this a little later on. But right here, okay, so KGB striking up a deal here. And now here's the difference between the theatrical and the Ultimate editions. At this whole scene here, where we see Luthor has this whole elaborate plan here to basically ensure that people with the Bat brand are killed in prison, which would kind of create like a trail for Clark Kent to follow to find that, okay, well, this Batman's definitely a problem.
Right.
Killed in prison. Again, they shouldn't be killed in prison. They should be incarcerated in prison. Now, here's the difference. The theatrical version, it's left broader, and I kind of like this idea, is that, a Dark Knight Returns embittered Batman, you're absolutely what you said, Tiki. He would brand him and let, that's their problem in prison. They might get killed, and they kind of deserve it, partially. And again, that's not Batman killing them. But in this version, it's not at all Batman's fault that they're getting killed. It's all Luthor. Luthor has paid many other people. Basically, all the deaths are connected to Luthor in this version.
I feel so bad about this, but I cannot look at this character without thinking about Allsave.
Oh, that is horrible.
Or Allstate.
Jesus. Come on, this guy's great on Blacklist. By the way, he's absolutely great. He plays the kind of the leader in Blacklist of the FBI kind of faction that we're at. Yeah, Harry Lennox, good actor.
I'm sorry, it's distracting. I'm sorry.
Anyway, but you see what I'm saying about the whole prison thing, right? I mean, I kind of like the broader idea of kind of Batman kind of sealing their fate, because Batman at this point just wouldn't care, and Superman would kind of throughout. Again, ideally, by the end of this film, he kind of learns that the Bat brand is not the way to go.
And any step for Zack Snyder that's one step closer to his infamous thing he wants to do with Batman in prison that I won't mention, which I think is it's proof positive that you need to get Snyder the fuck off of this property, but I digress.
I think this is a cute little 1938 reference I thought was a little adorable. It's like, oh, he's referencing the first appearance. Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
And also, with the subplot with Lois Lane, the whole Bullet subplot in this version, they do make it a little better, a smidge better. Is that they make her a little more useful in that it's less about this whole who does the bullet belong to? It's more so she's actually laying a trail. They're kind of going for a Daredevil director's cut thing. It's not as effective or as good as that, but I'm just saying they're going for a thing where she's actually sealing Luthor's case. Basically, she's connecting it all to Luthor, and she's building kind of he's absolutely responsible for this, and I can put him in prison, which she does eventually.
Right.
So I see what they're going for, and it makes her a little more useful than in the theatrical cut.
I still think it's my big problem with her is I have absolutely no problem with her being a supporting character. In this version and in the theatrical version, she almost feels like the main driving character of the whole narrative, which I think was a big mistake.
Basically made her a little overly important.
Yes, absolutely.
Good size because of this one woman, which is
like I said, I'm not saying cut her out of the movie because she's a lady. Oh no, I'm not saying that at all. Of course,
no one's accusing you of that. I love this. I love it. Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I appreciate that Lois Lane has more screen time than, than the love interest in the Avengers, where they're either, like, not on screen at all, or they're, like, barely there. But I think it's kind of the opposite, probably, of the Avengers in a way. Anyways, go ahead.
I love Wonder Woman and Batman being such great history buffs. Her from personal experience, him from just being Batman, and the idea, like, they're kind of, again, it's kind of they're literally playing kind of the Eyes Wide Shut music in this scene. I'm saying score that is identified with Eyes Wide Shut a lot. It's not exactly tailored to that film, but I'm saying it's in that film. And again, it's like
very prominent in that film.
Boys, these two are very charming together. It's like they're really they're both again, not a relationship, but like they have like good, they can keep up with each other in that regards. Like,
I think they did a good job kind of laying the stepping stones of a relationship down the line.
Yeah. I mean, you see, these two are kind of Batman befriended Wonder Woman before he befriended Superman. So, I mean, there's definitely a connection there, which makes sense because basically the way the kind of relationship, and also it's also hinted at in the comics here, and that the two of them might have a thing, is that she respects his abilities and everything. The fact he treats women respectfully, because Batman has a lot of female love interest in this stuff. And they're really interesting, fantastic characters. Not Batgirl, but
Oh God.
but not love interest. Point is, and from the other side, Bruce Wayne. Of course, Bruce Wayne sees Wonder Woman's awesome. She's basically kind of a, in many ways, in his mind, probably better than Superman, because she's trained. She doesn't have just the abilities given to her. She's earned them. And of course she has a perchance for gadgets and gadgets in terms of magical weaponry. So they have stuff to bond over there. But the point is, like, I like she's saying, I just borrowed the dress, I'm giving it to you boys. Boys can't share their toys, can they? That sort of thing. Okay, now this scene. Let me clarify this to you, because I'm not saying it's more apparent in this version. They might have, if they added some papers at the end, then they made it more apparent. But I think it's in both versions. But they added a little bit here at the beginning. Basically, when he's getting from point A to point B, they added some Mad Max Fury Road-esque.
Yes.
But so the idea here, Teak, is that, and this is actually a cool shot I did not notice, is that this is Gotham and Metropolis, but all the waters dissolved between them.
I think I kind of picked up on that from the theatrical cut.
And that big symbol in the ground there, that's the symbol of Apocalypse, of Darkseid. So Darkseid's he's invaded the Earth, and he's kind of laid waste. And we don't know where Darkseid is in this, but
there's the Mad Max stuff you were talking about.
You see those giant fire pits are symbols of Apocalypse. So basically, he's turned Earth into kind of Apocalypse, which is basically kind of like a hell on Earth type place.
Sure. And
this is cool stuff. I mean, I
really like this. I just wish this wasn't a dream sequence. I mean, that's the only thing.
Here's the thing, Tig. It's not a dream sequence. I'll explain why. Is that
I know.
It's shot like a dream, but it is not a dream. They confirm this. This is all the future, Tig. This is what happens in the future.
So it's a flash forward? Forward? Oh, you see what I did there?
This is a flash forward, and this is all beamed into Bruce Wayne's head, because basically as Flash travels back in time to warn Bruce Wayne, when he does that, you see like kind of flashes of other realities and stuff on the side here. This is basically the future that is Bruce Wayne is seeing all this.
Okay. I mean, visually, I really, like I said, Dragon, I kind of fell in love with the idea of Batman in the big overcoat. Like, I just love that image.
And again, it's like not nightmare. Like, this is called Nightmare Batman. It's not nightmare in terms of like it's all a dream. It's nightmare in terms of like this is like a nightmare existence for Batman to live in.
Right.
And of course, I love this reveal, and I just love how his eyes look in this scene. It looks. I love how White Affleck's eyes look in this costume. Batman's eyes have never been that well represented as they are here. I mean, short of Michael Keaton, this is the best they've ever looked inside the cowl. Like, look at just these white ping pong balls just looking up at you. It's like, oh god, it's like you do not want to mess with Batman. It's like it reads as a way of getting the white eye slits without having the white eye slits, because the eyes are so white. They look, I don't know what it is, how they do it. This looks really cool. And this action sequence is extended and looks really cool.
This is actually one of the few bits of kind of like brutal violence that they added in.
And this is all fine because, it's not the current Batman we're working with. This is like a nightmare scenario Batman. It's like a Batman you hope never comes to fruition.
Exactly. Right.
Again, it also demonstrates, and I'm sure Snyder felt really at home here because he got no slack for this one, because everyone real Batman. And he can use guns, he can kill people, he can snap necks and do all that stuff. And we're going to throw in parademons because everyone loves parademons. And they
No, I mean, like I said, Dragon, like, Snyder is very polarizing because when I see stuff like this, visually, I love his style. Like his style has honestly kind of grown on me over the years. I think Zack Snyder, one of the things Zack Snyder has done a good job of is kind of like reducing his over-reliance on the slow-mo stuff that he had in stuff like 300 and Watchmen.
Here's Jason. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here's Jason Mewes' favorite bit when he knocks out Batman there, the Parademon. Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
Well, no, I mean, like I say, you know what I mean. It's like, I think in this film, like, when they use the slow-mo, it's used very effectively, whereas in Watchmen, I feel like a lot of the slow-mo is kind of just obligatory, like, Zack Snyder likes the style, so he's going to do it.
Yeah, well, I think it just helps the action in that film, but that's just my thoughts on the point. But yeah, this is, again, so the idea is like, I assume what they're going for, again, we don't know this, is that maybe Superman overthrew Darkseid, now he's the head honcho. That's my guess. And you see here, look at the heat vision works. Again, there's no way that those obviously flamethrower bodies are Superman's handiwork. He would have incinerated the bodies. It's all ash. Superman leaves ash. He doesn't leave charred bodies. But this was an intimidating scene right here.
Yeah.
He rips the mask off Batman, basically, this is how he killed the Joker in Injustice, by the way. Just like puts the hand through the chest like this. It's really intimidating. I'm sure they pulled a lot of that from Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they did, because this whole kind of Superman as a dictator is exactly. And again, this would definitely feed into Lex Luthor's kind of what Lex Luthor's goal should be to prevent Superman from becoming a dictator like that, which Batman and Luthor would have a lot in common.
Okay, Dragon, why is Lois Lane the key to everything? Seriously, I'm going to mark that down as Lois Lane being annoying.
Okay, well, first of all, let's just acknowledge, hey, Flash, cool.
Well, yeah, and I can't wait to see Ezra Miller as Flash. I'm totally sold. I'm totally sold as him.
Okay, now let me make this clear. You're going to notice and look really closely when Flash disappears. You're going to see papers blowing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, see those papers blowing in the background, right? That means it all really happened.
Interesting. I like that.
Why else would those papers be blowing? See, now the idea, Tiki, is when Flash trails back...
Okay, so that sequence started when the decryption was just starting, and then now the decryption's over, so it took place over a period of time.
Yeah, so really what happened is Bruce Wayne saw what we were seeing in the future. Flash went back in time. That's why it was being shown to him, and that's why all the electrical stuff was going on around him. And basically all that stuff was being Bruce Wayne was waking up in response to what he just saw. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't dreaming. He was just becoming awake of it. And then basically, as reality was resetting itself, that's why it looks like it's a dream. But it doesn't. It's confusing. I get it though. basically, it's not when he wakes up that second.
I feel
time,
like you're dodging the Lois Lane question.
Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm saying
okay.
That it's just reality resetting itself. That's why it looks like he's waking up from a dream. So the Lois Lane thing. Why is Lois Lane the key? Well, it's in the movie. They're saying it's because later on he gets advice from Ghost Pa Kent. He learns that. Remember, Ghost Pa Kent tells him that gives him more bad advice. Essentially, the bad advice is that you should attach. The love of a good woman will kind of help you when the world's against you. It's the love of a good woman. That's why Lois Lane's the one. I'm just saying that's the. I'm not saying it's a good reason. I'm just saying that's the reason.
Oh, Pa Kent. Where to start?
Basically, it's that Superman can't win regardless of what he does. You just go with what he does and just do the right thing. Just enjoy what you can, which is the love of a good woman. And basically, in the future, I guess, Lois Lane gets killed, Superman really ticked off about, blames Batman, and things go to hell.
Okay, Dragon, I love the build-up for Batman having such an intense, burning, unmitigated hatred of Superman, the whole even if there's a 1% chance thing. And to me, it makes the Martha moment all the more just unforgivable.
Well, I remember back when this scene was in the trailer. I remember this. Now, the 1% chance thing, that was the first time I was like all gung-ho for the movie, as many of us were. Mm-hmm. But basically, when I heard that line, though, in the back of my mind, I was just saying, I exposed this to you, that it made me nervous in the trailer because it's like it dawned on me, oh my god, he's going to try to kill Superman? That's not Batman. Again, we saw him kill a lot more people in this film. That was back when we thought he wasn't going to kill at all. He was trying to kill Superman, and my problem is...
Snyder!
And, I mean, the problem is... I'm sorry. The fact that he's trying to kill Superman in this, especially in the movie, what we see up to this point, is there's definite evidence that you think Superman would do more stuff that would be proof that he is more of a 1% kind of problem, because Batman looks at this. There's tons of evidence. You expect Batman, the world's greatest detective, to at least investigate these matters Superman are being accused of, because again, it's pretty easy to figure out. Okay, accelerant, charred bodies versus heat vision, not Superman's handiwork.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, and of course, you can't really, you're angry at what Superman's role in the destruction of Wayne Financial was, but that's not all on him. Basically, I think there'd be more evidence before Batman gets to a place where he says, I'm gonna kill Superman for the betterment of the world. I think there'd be more behind it, It's like right now it's just killing him out of like, before he kills us, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
It makes Batman seem paranoid, and I'm just saying I still have some issues with that. The acting's great, though.
Kind of a part of Batman's characterization in this movie is that he's a little paranoid.
Yeah, I mean, and again later on, again, even like more evidence, like he's just going off a vision he just saw too, of like there's 1% chance. I mean, I saw what he's capable of, which again is fueling the fire, but I don't know if it's enough for him to kind of commit to killing Superman. Some people actually, there's a theory going around Tiki that Batman did not kill anyone until Flash went back in time, and the changed timeline is that he kills. Is that now he kills people? Tiki, your microphone's a little off. You got to get close to it or something. It's like it was all still nothing. Anyway, right now, folks, what we're seeing is like a great homage to Dark Knight Returns here, where he's about to be perched on top of the thing with a gun, seemingly not a gun. It's not a grappling gun. No, it's a little tracker shooter, which looks very good. It was an excellent shot in the trailer. It's a big hype shot. You get the big kind of black figure of Batman with kind of the broad, basically the old kind of cone shape of Batman, kind of the old awesome kind of triangle shape with the bat ears, essentially. It's like right here, right. Oh god, looks fantastic, and he shoots the tracer on there. And you think, why would Batman, if Batman's going to put a tracer on the car, why would he need to follow it? I think that's the real question. Dick, you're still sounding a little distant on the mic. Can you check the mic itself, like a little button or something? Anyway, so yeah, we got Batman taking aim, and he's about to give chase to the most cringeworthy part of the film. And now I got nothing. Oh wait, hold on, say something. Yeah, there you go. Now you're good. Now? Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, I have to get reacquainted with where we are in the movie.
All right, so right now, the worst part of the movie's happening. Nicholson, there's an 89 reference, and now the whole thing's going down.
Oh boy. Okay, you know what? I think the biggest shame is that I really love how the scene starts with Batman just kind of like overlooking, like scoping out the whole scenario.
And again, I really have to wonder, why is he chasing him in the Batmobile? Why does he just head him off? He's trying to get rid of the cars, the army following it, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I remember when this came out in theaters, I was trying to basically before the moment coming up with the Gatling guns on the Batmobile, which you think he would use strategically for getting past foreign objects and stuff, which would be a strategic use of the non-lethal use of the guns on the Batmobile. I assumed that car was unoccupied, or at least the guy was just stuck on the roof thing, which I'd give him a pass if the guy's being allowed. Then I see, he's using it. Then he uses it as a battering ram for the other cars, which is foreshadowing for the third act and not good for this act. It's real painful seeing Batman kill like this, folks. I mean, this is the most cringe. I still have a hard time. He drops right there. Seriously, this really hurts me as a Batman fan, Tiki. I mean, everyone throughout the years, and I hate that Snyder uses this as an excuse, too, that Batman always indiscriminately kills in the action scenes, but this is direct. Come on, he drives through a car killing a guy.
I mean, I guess there is the excuse that Batman did kill people in The Dark Knight Returns.
No, he didn't kill people in The Dark Knight Returns. He shot them with rubber bullets in the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. The whole argument was over Batman using the gun, not... Okay, I'm sorry. That was a different argument.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. This is the
my bad. My bad. I was confusing the
car chase. It's like, oh, people always die in the car chases in the Batman movies, and that's on them though. It's never on Batman.
And again, it's kind of like Zack Snyder just feeling his property damage fetish.
Yeah, and again, like Batman driving through the structures, like shooting through them, that's cool. But when it's through people, and it's like, if you just, I love. By the way, I want to say this though, I love it when you see the boot with like kind of the red reflecting on the leather, hitting the gas. I love seeing that shot though. Amidst all this chaos and cringeworthiness, I love seeing that. So I love seeing Batman hit the brake or hit the gas. That's awesome.
This is still very like, for as much as you don't like the the message of the scene, it's still very well directed action. I want to give it that much.
Yeah, it's good action. It's just not Batman. That's the problem.
No, yeah.
It's more murder guy with pointy ears. And here's another big issue I have with the scene. Rewatching it, big problem. Superman, where are you? You're just waiting here while he's killing people.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's just chilling.
Hey, let him kill people.
I also hate, like, I love this brief introduction we get of Superman and Batman.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool, like, he bumps into him, but why is it after all that?
I hate that this is the first and only time they're going to interact with each other until the main fight. I hate that.
Yeah, and again, like, the idea of Batman bumps in the car and Superman, like, not crazy about his methods, that's fine, but we need better context than that. Thankfully, in this version, at least we know Superman's hearing bad stuff about Batman, so at least it's not coming out of nowhere like it does in the movie. Like, first time he ever even hears about the guy, boom, just like appears.
Did we even have a context for Superman even being in Gotham City? Was it still the sports team?
It was he was in Metropolis the whole time, and that's as Clark Kent in that movie.
And then he just randomly shows up in Gotham.
Okay, now let me say this again. Superman's acting kind of godlike, saying this is consider this mercy, and Batman saying, do you bleed? And I love what the context of that is. Well, I mean, I love what's communicated. There's like, do you bleed? Is asking, you sound like a god saying that sort of thing. So he's like, as gods, do you bleed? So him just saying, you actually sound like a dictator. I might need to take you down, and the whole like you will.
This is a really cool tunnel, by the way. That underwater tunnel into the Batcave.
Great score here, and I love this. Tiki has loved these shots in the comics, and has loved how it's finally been brought to screen properly. When he gets out of the car, I love it when he takes the mask. This Affleck looks so cool in the Bat costume without the mask on. At the finally we get those scenes, and it looks great. It's finally. Like, oh god, it looks like just see how much he fills with the giant shoulders and the leathery cape, and he's so I love the shots of him. There are also some production shots of him without the mask on from the other side of that scene. It looks so good. I wonder what it's going through Luthor's mind. Like, what the heck happened there? But also I gotta wonder. Here's a little joke I was thinking of. Is you think Batman in that moment would say, "Hey, Superman, right? Okay, well, why don't we work together to stop Luthor because he has something really dangerous in that crate, but he doesn't tell him what it is." So basically, when Superman gets it, oh yeah, why don't you open that up? He opens it up, and kryptonite. Okay, I win.
Right.
You think Batman will at least try to trick Superman to manipulate him like that? It would solve everyone's. It would solve his problem. I'm just saying, hey, Superman. Again, you pulled the Christopher Reeve Superman move on me. He opens the box and kryptonite. Didn't expect it.
And that would be like literally the entire extent of the fight. This is Superman opening a box.
Yes, but that's exactly what the original Superman movie was. He opened the box, and that's how he was defeated by the kryptonite for the first time. He just opened the box after Luthor said, "I wouldn't do that." Opens the box. It was a lot cooler in that movie than I'm giving it credit for. I'm just saying.
Of course.
And here we have the whole Harry Lennox helping out Lois Lane, General Swanwick. So, I'm getting a sense my Batmobile thing is more your Lois Lane thing. I'm getting a sense that's where we are here. Like the cringeworthy thing is you with every Lois Lane.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like Lois Lane, I would have to rewatch Man of Steel. I remember initially kind of liking what they did with Man of Steel, mostly because I like the direction they went in Man of Steel, where she finds out his identity pretty much immediately. I thought that was a good choice in Man of Steel. But here, I don't think Amy Adams, it's partly the writing, and it's also partly Amy Adams doesn't even seem like she's that into it. I love this scene though, Dragon. This is one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
This is
good,
the scene where the whole idea of like Superman questioning his devotion to humanity is absolutely justified, and it doesn't come off like Superman seemed like a mopey asshole.
Yeah, this is great. However, little reoccurring thing. Kents give really mixed messages.
Oh, God.
They really give mixed messages with their speeches. Again,
I mean, the Kents are
really
wrong to Dave parents. You know what I mean? They're not flawless. They're not flawless.
All right, here's the thing. I mean, they're really well delivered, very heartfelt speeches to the young Clark, or older Clark in this case, but still a little mixed in the message.
Yeah.
A little mixed. Okay, now right here, this is where. Now this is an addition for the film. Again, it's kind of continuing our active plot. Kahina, I believe that's her name. Kahina here is basically it's revealed that she was lying to the center there, and pretty much making it look like Superman. In fighting the terrorists over there, basically end up killing a lot of innocent people. Not the case. Which again, I think if Batman, I would assume Batman would go into some rudimentary investigation to find out. Oh my God, he didn't kill anyone in that village. Which again, I think would solve a lot of the misunderstandings between those two. But
Yeah.
And also leads to I'll save it for a little bit later. Sorry.
Oh boy, I don't know.
Hey man, what do you think about her coming forward though to explaining the a little bit of conscience there?
It's okay. Like I don't know. Like you said, it kind of opens up the plot hole though.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that was kind of already there. I'm just saying, at least there. I'm just saying we have to make peace. Well, again, the Africa string, if you pull on it, it's all still kind of unravels, but at least it's tied together, at least in the first place. And I love this though. And I think it's kind of neat that Swanwick and Lois Lane. Again, they went through all the stuff in Man of Steel. They saved the day in Man of Steel. They helped out. They know each other a little bit. And the fact Swanwick gives her a thing, but you can't quote me though because I like my job. But I'll help you out a little bit there. It's kind of a neat little time to have. Mm-hmm. And so here's the big scene, folks. So again, even though
oh dear God,
I really do question this though. I question that after revealing that hey, Luthor has been threatening me. Has leverage over me, and of course she sees that those guys are in front of her house, most likely to do bad stuff to her, kidnap her, and/or kill her. That's what Luthor's guys do. She does not ask for a protection detail of any kind. She's just going about her day after she comes forward to the center, saying, "Hey, Luthor's behind all the bad stuff. He made me say some really untrue things." Does not get a protect. No cops. Nothing.
Just saying. There's a lot. There's a lot going on with this scene that we can kind of nitpick for sure.
And I love Affleck in these suits, and I just love him looking. I just love him being very commanding as Bruce Wayne, saying, Grace. Here's the best thing to you. I love how he knows every Wayne Enterprise employee's name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I love that. So right here, going down the subway, which is going to come back later, and there's KG Beast behind her.
Oh God, just hanging out, just chilling.
Not doing anything ominous. We got Perry White still being pretty cheap and pretty very paper obsessed. I like the idea the data plant isn't exactly the money making paper it is, and he's really trying to cut costs.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because, Perry White does make the observation. It's like papers are going downhill. No one reads the paper anymore.
Yeah. And again, I feel so bad. Luthor don't tell Mercy not to get in there, man. I mean, that's cruel. He sends Mercy to her death. What a prick.
Yeah.
What a prick. And he knows she doesn't know what's going to happen. Anyway. So again, this is a great little setup. I mean, on Luthor's part there, I'll give him credit. I like the idea of Luthor manipulating the Superman-Batman fight. If they are going to fight, man, I just wish it was a little less, obvious that, you could find ways around this,
I mean, it's yet another example of it's a good idea in the movie that just doesn't really. They don't take it as far as they could.
Yep.
I like this whole notion though. This whole Superman showing up for the Senate hearing.
I love this.
Yeah, kind of being a big kind of polarizing moment for the nation.
Oh yeah, that's the.
Go ahead.
The biggest problem with this film, absolutely, the biggest problem with the film, aside from Batman killing people, is that Superman easily could at least not be as conflicted if he just talked to. He doesn't say a word to people when he saves them.
Yeah.
Basically, all the senator and everyone's asking is for Superman to give a statement. He does not. If he just gave a statement, well, here's an homage to House of Cards, by the way. That's all I'll say. Coming up.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I've seen enough House of Cards to know.
Big homage to House of Cards.
Oh yeah.
But my point is, I mean, seriously, Superman, he just needs to give a public statement, or at least say what he's doing, at least say hello to people. He doesn't do any of that, and that's a problem. That's the biggest glaring issue of the film, because basically that would solve most of his problems.
But I mean, I took him showing up at the Senate meeting to be like he's planning on it. It's just he doesn't get the chance to before the Granny's peach tea incident.
I'm saying, why is it taking him so long, though, for all these people to keep talking like, what's Superman about? I mean, why hasn't he done this beforehand?
Because Batman versus Superman, the whole Batman versus Superman thing is who can mope the most, and Clark Kent is busy moping.
This is funny. Look at this. Look at this guy next to Lois Lane. That's kind of Max Landis.
Yes.
The anti-Superman. I just love all these this I love. I love the awesome mundanity of Superman walking into this building into a courtroom. I love that. That's going back to like that famous thing. There's an actual senator, by the way. That's Senator Patrick Leahy, who's in all the Batman movies, at least the majority of the Batman movies.
Cool.
He was actually behind the Batman comic where they, thanks to the Batman in comics, they actually passed the bill, I believe, against gun violence. And basically, thanks to that guy, it was either against landmines, I think it was gun violence, and they had also a really awesome thing about landmines. But seriously, this is great. This is what I'm loving. There's Superman kind of approaching. This is what was so.
Oh dear God! I just saw the T in the shot. Oh fuck!
But seriously,
they're setting it up.
But this right here, I mean, this is what the whole film was building to. This is the easy solution here. Superman pleading his case, and again, first of all, I mean, the Senator treated Superman real crappily, by the way, just saying, hey, we hold this guy responsible, and we respect this guy for coming forward. She could be a little more nice, but again, Superman, why does it take him so long to show up to one or issue any sort of public statement? He's never issued a public statement of any kind. He just bugs the crap. But again, I love that here it was built up. Finally, Superman was going to get to share his side of the story. Finally, Superman was going to plead his idealistic case, like we were all hoping for, all expecting. And again, because that's the biggest.
Oh dear God. And I feel let's just mourn for Holly Hunt right here. Let's mourn for her. All right, I feel so bad for her having to do this.
Do you feel my pain on this? It's like
I do.
This is such a built-up thing for the movie. And I never imagined Superman in a DC Comics film ever giving like an eye chart look to someone over a jar of urine. I want to reiterate this, folks. A jar of urine is a major plot point in this movie. A jar of urine. I never thought I had to put the word Superman and jar of urine in the same sentence, but
I honestly think it must be one of Zack Snyder's weird fetishes. There's no other explanation for it.
Now, I love the addition after the sequence, though. I do love the addition afterwards. Yeah, that is a doozy.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? That's a small explosion. Apparently it's supposed to be bigger.
I'm glad they kind of kept it in, like, I think if they would have went all Michael Bay with it, it wouldn't
have
had the same impact.
Plot-wise, it was supposed to be a bigger explosion per Luthor's plan.
Okay.
But I love this is added for the Ultimate Edition. I love this edition. Again, this is a great shot by seeing Superman really sad about all the people dying.
Yes.
But following this is a great addition, though, where Superman's saving the people from the building. You know me, I love people saving, Superman saving people. And it was just so great. And again, you get to see Superman looking conflicted there, and also Batman's reaction to this, and again, looking just angrily, he looks up at that screen there to see you let your family die. That's how you get under Bruce Wayne's skin. Innocent people dying, and you let your family die. He is ticked off. But right here when Superman's just kind of bringing people out of the building, and of course there's like a strew of dead bodies. Superman's feeling guilty because all these people were gathered there for him to show up, all because of him. Whether they weren't just for him to show up. The point is, all these people were gathered because of him, and they all died because of his actions, which he has no control over. He feels guilty for. But I love he's doing what he can to help. That's Superman. I love that.
Absolutely.
And I love the paramedic guy here saying like, I know we got this. He's a little afraid of Superman, but he just still isn't. He was terrified. He's a little hesitant, Superman, but at some point he might be grateful to it. Like, oh, thanks for helping get the person out of the building there. But still, you little all powerful over here.
Now, do you think Superman made a bad call to just sort of fly off, or do you think it's a no-win situation for him?
Well, we know it's a no-win situation, but I think he should have stuck around. I mean, look, he should have stuck around, but it wouldn't have helped either way. I mean, but it just looks bad that he then flies off, I guess. Again, here's the main thing. He should have issued a statement saying,
Right? Right?
I mean, he's dating a reporter. It goes with the whole 78 film. He talks to Lois Lane first. She gets the story out there. What happened? Seriously, just anyone. Just let him get him in front of a camera. Not while he's flying.
I see your issue, Dragon. I see your issue.
I'm saying it's an easy problem to fix. Just have Superman say, "Hey guys, listen, I'm all for you. I'm for doing the right thing, the truth, justice, American way, guys. I'm here to serve your interest. All right, I'm just saving anyone who needs help. That's all.
All right, cool. All right, Superman out."
Yep, and again, I love this though. I love Alfred's horror, realizing he knows exactly what Bruce is going to do.
Was this added?
Yeah, this was added.
This was one of my favorite brief new scenes. Absolutely, because Alfred, without a word of dialogue, he's just like, "Oh, okay, I know what this means. I know exactly what this is going to lead to." Oh God, just seriously, I'm falling in love with Jeremy Irons.
Irons is such a good Alfred. Part of me wants to say he's the best one, but again, we've never had a bad Alfred. Never had a bad Alfred.
I mean, I'd say right now it's between Irons and Mike O'Kane.
I love this, by the way, coming up where Luthor's looking at the security footage and we see an awesome kind of Arkham City style bat grab. And I love it. Look closely. Batman looks a little otherworldly in the shot too. Look at the eyes and the bat head when he comes down there. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool. He has the bat eyes. Oh, it's awesome. Sorry, I thought I really loved that. I wish we saw a little more, but that's enough. That's awesome. Oh God, that's great. Anyway. But again, it's the idea of Batman so ticked off, and I want to say, honestly, I would love it if I don't think they went this way. I want to assume that he knows Luthor's behind it. Again, I think classic Batman would know Luthor's instantly behind this. That's the why he broke in here with such vigor and such power. Now, whether he suspects that or not, I don't know. But the point is, he needs to get in this facility. He needs to get in there now, and he left a mark. And you see, Luthor's happy about this. Eerily. And again, it seems like a good Luthor plot. I just wish it wasn't so obviously linked to Luthor. It's obvious Superman did not. Well, I mean, the theatrical cut's obvious Superman did not do this. In the director's cut, I don't know. I want to say there are a few lines added here, T. I don't know, but a few lines added to put more blame on Superman's ignorance the reason for this.
Right.
It sounds like they're strategically putting more blame on Superman for not seeing it in the director's cut. I want to say that's an addition they had, a few lines here and there. That's a guess, though. I don't know.
And you know what? I genuinely feel like that's one of the best elements of this director's cut is it's not flashing you in the face with extra footage and stuff like that. It's more so just kind of doing a patchwork of the editing.
Yeah, and I got to tell you though, out of context, I think this works fantastically. But I mean, in context, it's if you forget Man of Steel, then it works. But here's the problem: I love a Superman so down. This is his kind of his Spider-Man retirement moment right here, where he says, Superman was the idea of a farmer from Kansas. Just he's so down on his luck, and of course, it was not the idea of a farmer from Kansas because we know Pa Kent never approved of this in Man of Steel, which is out of context and forgetting Man of Steel, assuming let's just magically imagine he did. Hey, go for it, imagine. But seriously, just the idea of a Superman so down on his luck, remember what this symbol means. Remember you told me in Man of Steel what the symbol means. It says, yes, and basically it's that it was a symbol in my world. My world doesn't exist anymore. And again, that's such a tragic Superman. That's a beautiful Superman. Your heart goes out to the guy. You feel so bad for Superman. His hope doesn't mean anything in his. The symbol meant something in his world doesn't mean anything in this world because no one gives him a chance to just assume he just does good without worrying about what he's going to do the next day. He just can't live. Superman was the idea of an idealistic farm boy, essentially, but no one he feels so stupid for even thinking he could be a superhero, and that's a beautiful moment.
So I guess we should address Lex just instantly being able to work the ship.
Well, to be fair, it's actually I'm trying to think. Well, remember, no, he has the fingerprints. That's why he can work it over everyone else.
I've still heard people complain about that though. Meh.
Well, I mean, it's only because he has the. I'd give it a pass because no one else could have done it because only the fingerprints work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, elements of Luthor's next plot here work, but there's tons of stuff that does not work in it, though. That's the thing. And the idea now here's basically this would have been a great setup for Luthor working with Brainiac. Honestly, again, a Kryptonian ship, which Brainiac many times has been attributed to Krypton. He learns about thousands of worlds, and essentially in many like the animated series, he becomes addicted to Brainiac because he learned so many things. He became so powerful. He's on a power trip with Brainiac knowledge. And here, though, I do love this. I love this kind of training scene for Bruce Wayne. I love him gearing up for his battle with Superman. Oh my God, it's such a great sequence. You know, him.
I honestly think it could have been a little bit longer.
I loved it so much. I really do.
Like, I wish they would have just extended this out to be a full blown montage.
Remember for the Super Academy Christmas special, I did add a little bit of homage to this because I just love it when he's just pulling the thing. We saw him like bent down, see his giant broad shoulders, like pulling that weight across the room. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole sequence is really cool. I mean, it's basically we don't get a Batman suiting up montage, but this fits pretty well. You know, and the spear thing. However, the spear is on the nose symbolism. Like everyone had a problem with the whole Superman in the church. The spear is definitely a religious allegory. It's a little on the nose.
I honestly didn't really have a big problem with the spear.
Well, remember the spear's the old. You know the spear. You know the spear symbolism, right?
Not entirely.
Hitler's spear. Hitler had a spear that he believed to be it's a biblical spear that pierced the side of Christ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
You know, Hitler, the occult thing Hitler loved.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're talking
about. All this
about.
magic and voodoo stuff. That's, all the BPRD stuff in Hellboy, he always talks about that sort of stuff. But, yeah, this is great. Also, I love that there's like some really slight Wonder Woman homages here where she's like, when she goes to the bank and she looks up to the camera, she's in like a purple dress, kind of like she did in the 70s all the time. She liked wearing purple.
Yeah.
Like a dark purple there. Anyway, of course, we have the Wonder Woman theme being introduced here, and it's, oh my God, the Wonder Woman theme is so awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that the new Wonder Woman movie seems to be using it also, which I'm so happy with.
Yeah, no, it's a great bit of editing with the music when as soon as we see this image, yeah, it just kicks in.
Oh yeah, this is all good stuff. And again, I think in the grand scheme, they probably use it a little much when everyone's looking at the screen. But I mean, later on with the Justice League thing, I think that's pretty well deserved, though. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I honestly have never had a problem with the Justice League thing. I think maybe, if anything else, they probably shouldn't have had the Dawn of Justice title in there. They probably should have focused more on the Batman.
Well, no, I mean when the music's playing over that scene. I kind of like the music playing over that scene. It's fine. The scene's in there, right, music-wise. Now here, let me talk about Zod's body here. So again, the idea of using Zod's body to create Doomsday, that's an inspired choice. That's a good choice. If you're gonna create a Doomsday, that's how you do it. Because again, the symbolism of it is, okay, Superman's big mistake that he really racked himself over the coals for. Zod, killing Zod, coming back to haunt him, and then Superman can't kill him. What's his penance? He will. He's going to be killed himself. Superman can never kill, so he will be killed in retaliation for that by the person that he killed that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's the idea of Zod coming back, and I wish Zod was a little more sentient, honestly. I wish they kind of get more consequences, personally. But, I mean, I don't know. I think Zod...
Or maybe had a little bit more of Zod's personality when they he eventually became Doomsday.
Yeah, like somewhat. That's what I'm saying. Like somewhat, just again, more like Zod having feelings about it. Again, it's consequence. Zod will be the ultimate representation of consequence for Superman.
Yeah, and I am one of those people where, out of all the controversy in Man of Steel, I never had a problem with him killing Zod because you clearly see that Superman he's not cool with the fact that he had to do it. That's very clearly like a plot point. Yeah. So I never really understood that particular criticism.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool direction to go in, because that's what I thought they were going. If you're going to do Doomsday, I mean, Doomsday is a big deal. I mean, what would be the cool layer you could do Doomsday we just haven't seen before? It's like, okay, well, Zod, come at Kryptonian monster, Kryptonian DNA, all right.
Right.
Then again, it's good ideas, great in concept, doesn't quite go where you want it to. And again, this is this is for the Ultimate Edition. Here's a little more context for Superman's random low point. But again, I like that it's kind of showing what this scene does, Tiki, is again, it's kind of like it's kind of like the Spider-Man retirement thing. Again, it's like Superman's just feeling so down that Dumps is kind of walking the dead man's path. Of course, it's not going to kill him.
I mean, I honestly think it turns the whole Superman just randomly. Like I said, I call him like a mopey asshole in the theatrical cut too. I really do think all these subtle additions here and there throughout the movie add to the overall vibe of, yeah, you do kind of, you're on Superman's side. You know, it's like Superman is genuinely like, he's in a no-win situation. He's trying the best he can, and all he's getting is this shit press.
I think what they're going for, Tiki, is the idea that Superman tries to bring hope into the world, and all his attempts are met with like cynicism, and at this point, he can't win. He's kind of at a point where he's trying to give up. And later on, basically, it's kind of it's a tragedy, don't get me wrong, but it's the idea that Superman brings hope to the world, but only through his death. But he introduced it into the world, though.
Sure.
I think that's what they're going for. I'm not saying that's necessarily the route to be taken, but I can at least see what they were going for. It's an interesting idea. I just wish we could have presented a little more, a little more interesting. You know,
I think I'm higher on it than you are.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this again. I'm higher on how they portrayed the death later on. I think that, again, I've always said
yeah, but I mean, honestly, Dragon, I think all this buildup that we have, kind of, getting on Superman's side, that's a big reason why I feel like the death works a lot better.
Let's see it. Maybe we'll swing it another time. Every time I watch it, I think I like a few more things a little better, but I still got all the fundamental problems rattling around my brain.
Fundamental problems, just wasted screen time with Lois Lane.
I do like this though. I mean,
just
this
black hole of screen time.
I like two things. Okay, well, two things I really do like in this scene. One, I love the mention of the lead-lined wheelchair, because that's a big thing we're missing in the theatrical. I think makes all the sense in the world. That's why Superman didn't see it. He can't see through lead. That's awesome.
So basically, he pulled a Gus Fring.
Essentially, yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, that I love. That was a big thing we're missing, and I think it was a shame that one was missing, because, again, it would have kind of explained a big deal. Other thing, though, I like that Lois Lane, she kind of, first of all, I love kind of the anti-Superman apartment. I think it looks really creepy. But when it gets in there, it's like she's doing some simple reporter work there. She's kind of realizing, oh my god, he didn't know he was going to die. Again, I like she's more useful in this version. I like how she's more useful in this version.
I guess.
I'm not talking about the relationship. I'm just talking about her as a singular character, supporting character, right?
Yeah.
And this scene still comes completely out of nowhere. I'm just saying, out of all the... I mean, look, we all like Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner just really wanted to come back. I think that's all there is to it.
We like the guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kevin Costner... There's the thing with Pa Kent. Kevin Costner's portrayal of Jonathan Kent, he exposits these really nice... He delivers these scenes very well. Really, he's a consummate actor. Really well delivered. I think the writing just needs another pass to make, messages a little less mixed, Well, son, you can never win, but, find yourself a nice lady.
And like I said, man, I do think that's still kind of like the biggest problem with Superman's characterization is he's got kind of like this creepy, like, devotion to Lois Lane over all other people in the human race. He kind of puts Lois Lane on a very literal pedestal. And like you said, it's like Pa Kent, maybe not the best advice. Well,
remember, there's only one other person he values more than Lois Lane.
Martha! Yeah, of course.
Because remember, he doesn't, after saving Lois Lane, he doesn't try to, laser kebab Lex Luthor. It's only after his mother.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, right here, basically, I like that Jonathan Kent's kind of expositing the story of, like, I've been in the exact same position you are with the whole, the horse story, drowning the horses by doing something heroic. You can never win. But again, I wish, like, the whole solution wasn't just, I met your mother now. Again, that's not really preventing our apocalyptic future, Jonathan. I know you're trying to help, but, it's read a parent book.
Oh, God.
We need guidance. That, again, just disappears like a ghost.
Okay, no. We could honestly say this guy's not winning any Father of the Year awards
Okay,
in life or in death.
All right, but I tell you, the TK, I gotta tell you, the scenes. I
Yep.
love this scene so much. This is a beautiful scene. There's so much dimension in this scene here. One, it's like Affleck is one of Affleck's best scenes of the film. It's a great scene where he's just saying, I'm the same age as my father ever was. And again, it's the idea. This is a Bruce Wayne completely devoid before he goes out to do something crazy, fight Superman. And it's just saying this may be the only thing I do that matters. And the idea that, after 20 years in Gotham, the criminals that they spread like wildfire and all these sorts of, it's a never-ending battle. But look, my father, he died young. He never got to achieve any, he didn't get to achieve a lot of things in his life because he was cut down early. I didn't get to spend time with my father. It's the idea of Bruce Wayne saying, before I leave this world, it's like the idea as Batman, I want to leave this world better than I left it. I want to make an impact in some way because I'm tired of after going out fighting criminals, having a miserable life, thinking of my dead parents. I want to leave this world having done one thing right. I think that's so powerful the way he conveys that. And kind of looking back to his past, his family that they've built on, hunters. And aside from businessmen, they've also at their core all sort of like hunters. And Batman, at many points, he's a hunter of criminals. That's what he is.
Sure.
And I speculate, by the way, this is added though when he says, "So falls the house of Wayne." Oh God, it's a chilling line from Alfred. Against him, like Alfred saying, "Well, that's it. He's gonna die."
Alfred has some of the best moments that are added to this director's cut for sure. He was already solid, but I think they made him they made him all the better.
Again, short of that car chase, I think a part of Alfred's thing, well, either he's going to get killed by Superman or he's going to kill someone, which is definitely the death of the little boy I raised.
Right.
And the last thing I want to mention about that sequence is that with Wayne Manor being destroyed, I speculate this in our pitches about our Batman pitches. I speculate that either Joker killed Jason Todd and blew him up inside Wayne Manor, or Batman to cover up Jason Todd as Robin, he blew up the house to explain that's how he got killed.
Okay.
So, a little bit of penance for again the death of his young ward there. Here we go, Riddler. Little question mark on the pillar there. Did you see that?
Yeah. There's a couple question marks in the movie, aren't there?
Well, I mean, this is the most notable one. I don't know if there are others.
I think there's one in the there's like when Oh, right. Oh, yeah. You're right.
This is cool. I remember seeing this, and the weather is just wacky in this. In this, so it's raining in Gotham, but not in Metropolis, and they're right across from each other. But it happens with rain. I'm not going to put too many holes in it. I'm just saying, oh my God, this scene we were going nuts over in the trailers, just seeing Batman with the white eyes. Finally, 2016 finally gave us 3 cases of white eyes with Batman, with Deadpool, and with Spider-Man. We finally had awesome white eyes. They're just like pulled right off the page, and oh God, it looks great. And again, it's the bat signal in the rain like that. I just love that visually. Looks great. It's Dark Knight Returns, but instead of snow, it's rain. It looks cool.
I love the idea of Batman basically like starting the fight. He's like, okay, come to me. You told me to keep this out of the sky, and I'm shining it proudly. Bring it on.
Yeah, the idea of Batman, again, like a good hunter, he's just waiting for Superman to come.
Yes.
Really, really good stuff. And boy, again, by the way, his costume looks pulled straight from the book, by the way, of the Dark Knight Returns armor and all that. It's a huge, loving homage to the Dark Knight Returns. Again, when Snyder's adapting stuff, he does a great job. He adapts those certain elements. They're great.
Of course. It's funny though. It's like I feel like Snyder's never really hit the perfect balance. Where I feel like if anything, Watchmen, he probably should have taken a few more creative risks with the story because it felt very much like a bare bones, like this happens and this happens and this happens. And same thing with 300. It's like they're basically like recreations of the comic book without any of Zack Snyder's story influence. And this is kind of like the exact opposite. It's like he's taking certain artistic looks, but he's creating his own story. I don't know. Like I said, Zack Snyder, not the greatest storyteller in the world. He's really yet to prove himself in the storytelling department at all, really.
Yep. It always kind of bugs me that when Luthor is going to give him a speech here to Lois doesn't just push him off the roof.
Yeah, a little bit.
Technically, she doesn't know Superman's coming back, but I mean, regardless, again, if she knows Superman was around, if you just push him off, and she would know Superman was going to catch him. But I mean, regardless, the guy's most likely going to kill you. Push him off before he kills you, Lois. Come on.
And I do think it's some freakishly good timing with Superman doing the save.
Well, again, it's Superman in that case. Come on. Here's Lois in trouble. And by the way, for everyone who's saying, why doesn't he hear Martha being kidnapped? Martha's all the way in Smallville, all right? Again, remember, she's all the way in Smallville, which is not Metropolis. And additionally, remember back in Man of Steel, he was learning to kind of, make his hearing selective. So he knows how to kind of cut off his power so he doesn't hear everything in the world, else he goes insane. Remember when he was a kid in the closet in the school? He has to learn to kind of, filter out, which his mother taught him to do. You imagine my voice is an island. Remember, he learns that sort of stuff. So he doesn't go crazy. Speaking of crazy, hey, Luthor.
Oh, God. They might as well have just rerun Luthor to be the Riddler. If they just rewrote Luthor as the Riddler, you honestly not that much would have had to change.
And look, I like this bit right. I love this callback to Man of Steel. I'm sure no one appreciates it, but I really like this callback where, this is exactly how he saved her in Man of Steel. And like the whole "you came back" line exactly from Man of Steel. I thought it was sweet. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's calling back to the chemistry they had a lot better in Man of Steel. It's a little callback. Oh, it's sweet. I'm going to say a little slice of proper Superman Lois Lane.
Yeah, a little slice, just a little morsel.
A little morsel. And again, the idea of this Luthor thing where Luthor is outsmarted Superman, he's kind of manipulating him. In concept, great idea. And the idea, kind of Superman, Luthor kind of making Superman bend to his will, not a bad idea. But again, there's so many ways out of it. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I also think that the plan could have been a little less convoluted.
That's what I'm saying. I think the plan. I love the idea here in this scene. I wish it wasn't as convoluted, or at least there were so many other ways out of it. And again, Luthor figuring. I called this way back when we were speculating. Of course, Luthor would figure out who he is. I mean, come on.
Obviously, yeah, sure.
I remember you shooting me down on that one though, or someone shot. I think it was. I'm sorry. Never mind. This is great though. Well. I mean, I love how Superman's going to get so ticked off at him in a second. That's what I'm thinking. Great, sorry. But yeah, again, this is all kind of missed opportunities of Luthor. He's just saying what he wants here. We don't have any, I don't think we quite see Luthor. I think even with all the little additions here and there, I still think Luthor still suffered a lot in this movie. That we still have no idea what's going on in this guy's head.
No, I'll agree. Yeah, I think the best I can say is that it looks like Jesse Eisenberg had a really fun time performing Luthor. And there are some, I would say probably ironically funny moments with Luthor. Not unironically funny, but very ironically funny moments. Having said that, it's certainly not Luthor. I still want to give Eisenberg a chance because you know me, I've championed for Eisenberg since the beginning. I think if Eisenberg reined in on what made him so special in The Social Network, then we could really get a great Luthor in the future. But yeah, this doesn't work. It really doesn't. I'll be the first to admit it.
And right here, just how it should have ended got this absolutely right. I mean, Superman just should have damaged the helicopter, then went off. And I'll tell you what I've been saying. It's about to happen. I know it hasn't happened. I'm saying. So when he makes right now, he's saying every boy's special lady is his mother. And somewhere Norman Bates now has heat vision. He's going after
Oh God.
No. But again, it's so cruel here. Just wrote witch on Martha. I assume he cleaned it off because he doesn't have it later on. So at least he was considerate. To some degree. And he always has to be so flamboyant because he's saying, death by fire, which lighten her on fire. I mean, come on, dude. We really need that.
Yeah, that's the thing with Luthor. It's like he's got all these really over-the-top grandiose quotes that add nothing to the movie. It's that sounds cool.
I do love how panicked he is saying, it feels like such a Max Landis bit to me, though, when he just says, they didn't tell me, I don't know.
Yes.
But again, right here, here's what I would have done if I was Superman. And believe me, I am not Superman. Just, if I was Superman, I would grab Luthor and take him with me, saying, okay, well, If she dies, you die. For just like I drop you if anything bad. Basically, take Luthor with you so he doesn't go up to anything. Basically, so he doesn't create doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
It's like why doesn't he just take Luthor with him and find his mother instead of going to fight Batman for this little weasel here? That's what I'm saying. Like, damn it, like heat vision the helicopter, or just like grab Luthor by the scruff of his neck and take him with you. But anyway,
Right.
it's a little thing. Again, why doesn't he just try to find Martha? I don't know. But again, importantly, I mean, the fight is awesome. Just I wish there was better reasons behind it, though. It's the thing. Just
I do. Yeah. I hear you.
The fight is really cool, though.
It should have been longer. There should have been more than one fight in the movie.
Yeah. Poor Martha.
God.
That gun, folks. That big gun's going to be put to use, and it should be in his possession, but it's not. Seriously, I tell you what I really wish would happen. I'm going to tell you about it now. I really wish they just gave him a huge gun, and when Batman does the thing from Dark Knight Returns later on, if shoot him in the hand or shoot his hand off, and there you have the origin of KGB. So why he hates Batman so much. He took his hand off, and now he's a big gun.
You know what? I'm surprised like how much KG Beast is actually in this movie, and he leaves virtually zero impression.
Tell me something. Does this bother you that Wonder Woman doesn't get involved earlier? She just watches everyone kind of clamoring around. Hey, end of the world in Metropolis going on.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. It's like,
I mean, eventually she gets involved. I'm just saying she's kind of like she gets on a plane before she does. I'm saying, come on.
Did you get on the plane? Did you get on the plane?
Oh, would you stop? I mean, look, I know that part of her is going to think, well, Superman's got this handle. I don't need to get involved. I mean, well, she's on the plane, though, and it's still going on. And come on. One day, come on. However, that bit always kind of bothers me when Superman says no one stays good in this world forever. At least
it's kind of like an example of the mopey asshole
Yeah,
Superman.
well, that for me is kind of it's mopey Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, like right here, she's not. Come on, you can't even watch TV in your little hotel room here, Wonder Woman.
She's just chilling. She's just totally just kicking back. It's like she's one step away from just kicking back with a glass of wine.
Okay, I'm going to assume Batman's so smart he figure out her email address.
Okay, let's talk about some of this.
This is again, we have the great score coming up here when she looks into the Justice League.
Right.
And also, a glimpse of Chris Pine and Steve Trevor in the photo there, and kind of her. It essentially looks like her Howling Commandos for the film, essentially.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Yeah.
Like her band of merry kind of war buddies. And again, with what we see here with kind of the LexCorp metahuman research. Now, everyone complains about. I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't complain about the symbols, everyone. Look, for the most part, with the exception of Cyborg, all the symbols are either on the costume or heavily implied that that's what the symbol would be. And Wonder Woman, it's on her costume. Flash, I mean, he has lightning bolts all around him. If you didn't see, plus it's assumed, let's just say, with another DC films that he already has the costume. He's already an existing Flash. I mean, either they already know that's his symbol, or just again the lightning bolt.
Mm.
And Aquaman, he has the A on his costume. And I mean, come on, again, just he has the A on the costume.
Again, I can't wait for Ezra Miller. I think Ezra Miller was the perfect casting choice for Flash.
I'm looking forward to Flash. However, I still, out of all these, I really like the Flash and Aquaman footage because I love Aquaman has the blue eyes in the dark cave, and I love how he just kind of explodes off, kind of like Superman. Basically, it's like a Superman for underwater. I like that idea.
I think the Aquaman bit gives us a little taste of what a horror slanted Aquaman could feel like, where Aquaman is very much kind of like this bizarre supernatural entity that no one really knows what to make of. Like you said, very much like a Superman. And keep in mind, like James Wan, kind of like the big godfather of modern horror right now, is directing Aquaman, which I'm really excited about.
And with Flash, though, I mean, with Ezra Miller, I think it looks great in the Justice League trailers. Hate him with the ponytail here. I think the ponytail looks stupid.
I don't mind.
They got rid of the ponytail, which is much better. I'm just saying, it's really dumb. Okay, here's the mother box. Tiki, this is going to be very important. See that mother box right there? That is going to be the coveted.
Yeah.
That's the coveted item for Justice. There's going to be 3 of those, and one of them resides in Cyborg, kind of like the Vision with the Infinity Gems.
By the way, I love the Diet Dr. Pepper promotion.
Well, I mean, come on, he's working day and night over sun. Doesn't he deserve to have a nice, refreshing cold drink? I mean, after all, he's Doctor Silas Stone. What other drink would he drink? Doctor. He needs a drink with credentials, Tiki. Anyway, product placement over the show.
Go to the Movie Machine podcast at hotchocolatemedia.net.
I love that Perry White dresses up for work. He's a bow tie. Just want to mention that.
Right.
Again, because Jimmy Olsen doesn't have a bow tie because he's dead.
Yep.
So apparently Perry White raided his wardrobe because he's dressed exactly like Jimmy Olsen in this scene. But again,
You're right.
Jimmy Olsen, right now he's gathering flies. I'm sorry. Thanks to Snyder.
Thanks, Snyder.
But again, oh my god, this scene. This is the first. I believe this is the first day.
Snyder.
I believe this is the first day they shot. By the way, they shot the fight on the first day. With the first scene these two shared was the fight scene right here.
Oh, the first out of a whopping 2 scenes.
Right here, I just want to mention this. When the way Ben Affleck says, "Well, here I am." That is undeniably from Dark Knight Returns, Tiki. I tell you, just the little smile on his face saying, "Well, here I am," and that smirk right there. I can see that smirk right there. It's from Dark Knight Returns when Superman falls for the first trap. That's right from the book in the anime.
That's one thing I will give like early Frank Miller Batman is he had the Batman smirk down.
Oh god, yes, great. And again, I love just how from the book it is. And now here's our problem though. Problem with the whole fight, as much as I do love the action in this fight, and I know why the action's so good in this fight, by the way. Jay Oliver, the guy who directed Dark Knight Returns, the animated film, did this. Did a majority of this fight. I assume he did a majority of this fight because he does all the action bits in that film. Anyway, because he also did the action bits in Man of Steel too during the fight stuff. It's usually Jay Olivier boarding it. It bugs the crap out of Superman just doesn't like float overhead or like just stand in place and tell Batman what's going on, saying, "Listen."
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Superman just does not make that much of an attempt. Like he kind of makes like a half-ass attempt, like listen to me, Lex, and then it's like, okay, fuck it. You want to fight? Let's dance.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. Basically, the instant Superman slaps him around, or like basically Superman like throws Batman across like that he did for a second time. That's a bad move. That's going to tick him off even more. You need to just don't move. He can't hurt you.
Absolutely in the back of my mind when I was rewatching it. It's like Superman does virtually nothing to not instigate the fight.
Like right here when he throws him into the bat suit. Well, that's mean, Superman. Don't throw him in the bat suit. Come on. That bugs me. It's like, come on, Jim. He has to get that back to the Jim Gordon. He has to repair it now.
Oh God.
Come on. And like right here, this is pulled from the book too. If I wanted it, you'd be dead already. And again, out of context, great. In this, it does have no meaning whatsoever, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a few nods to the fight. I wish they kind of had in there. Like, there's a one bit, like when he does the infamous Martha thing. I wish it was like his hand on his throat. I wish it was his hand on his throat because it would homage the greatest line in that book. Which again, they can't put in the movie. I'm just saying they could at least reference it. The whole, I want you to remember this: my hand by your throat. The whole in most private moments, remember the one man who beat you. You can't have that in this movie. I'm just saying homage it.
Why can't they have that in the movie?
Remember, it makes no sense because I'm not going to kill you essentially.
Oh yeah, right. Fair enough.
I love this though. I love him explaining.
Because Batman is a killer in this movie. He's just a straight up murderer.
I do love him explaining. That's fear you're feeling. The thing in your lungs right now. That's fear. Oh, it's so good. It's so great. Ben Affleck is so good in this movie.
This is gonna sound really stupid, but when I first saw the theatrical cut, I was like, wait, is that fear toxin?
Oh, come on.
I know.
You saw the animated film. Come on, man.
Yeah, I gotta admit, like, I am, like, slightly mixed on the mech Batman suit, like...
Well, remember, it's not mech, it's armor.
No, I understand that it's from the Dark Knight. I do think that most of the time it looks really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is this is so he can take a punch from Superman. I mean, the Dark Knight Returns animated film, it was a little bit mechanized in the animated film. Here, it's just that, it's all armor. It's just like so he can take a punch and, basically get his next kryptonite launcher kind of lined up there. And that shot is directly from the book when he kicks him like that, the boot up in the air like that, which is awesome. And again, Affleck with his lit up eyes, and that looks really good.
We're getting close, right?
Oh, yeah, of course we. Yeah, but when you get to ground level, you gotta wait for him to get to the ground level. However, we do have a really bad bit come out. As much as I do love this fight, there's one bit. It doesn't look as bad as I remember in the theatrical cut. I'm not saying they altered it for this, but I mean, they might have real subtly altered it, but I have no idea how they would do that. But I guess they sped it up, perhaps. Anyway, like right here, after this bit here, when he gets him with the second dose of the kryptonite, yes. I told you, at least in the theatrical cut, it reads this way a lot. But either I'm used to it or they altered it. Is that when he hits him with the sink, the camera, when Superman's looking all exasperated, and then Batman's like kind of looking real angrily before he beats the sink over his head. It looks so much like something like you would see in Kick-Assia from that guy with the glasses. It looks really. It looks really like homemade. It looks really like out of all of it. It's like out of the fight's like the only cheesy. Before everyone gets in the whole Marvel thing, it's like kind of the cheesy moment. So I mean, I think I'm used to it by now. Maybe that's why it looks a little better. But still, look. You tell me what you think, Tiki. I told you about this before.
Yeah.
But right here, when it's like the music, it's just like right here. I'm sorry. After he grabs the sink, it happens right after he grabs the sink. Right here, folks. Hey, folks, you give some feedback too. It's like the Doctor Insano fight.
Oh God!
Right here, the way the camera moves, like right here, and then it's like Superman's
to
the side, like right here. There's that one. The way he beats him over the head. No one on the beat over the head. Just. And by the way, where's Superman's battle damage? I mean, aside from the one like slice with the thing, he's barely bruised or anything in this whole fight. I do, however, before the Martha moment happens. Oh, there's a Watchmen reference. Who watches the Watchmen in Spanish?
Oh, nice, cool.
Kier is. It's like sorry, I can't remember how to say it in Spanish. Oh,
Dragon, let me just say this right now before I rip into the Martha thing. There was one moment rewatching this where I was like, oh, okay, I maybe I like where they're going with this. And that's the moment, like, you can see on Batman's face, you can see on Affleck's face, when he's just totally caught off guard when Clark first says Martha. Just the look on Batman's face when he first mentions the word Martha, and he's more confused than angry about it. I'm like, okay, I like that performance. I like that subtle little acting bit from Affleck. Like I said, I think Affleck does very, very good subtle changes in expression. But
here's my favorite bit.
Okay.
Here's my favorite bit of the action scene. I love it when he's like throwing around the pillars, but I love the line before it, which again we kind of done some stuff with a pitch where he's where he says, my parents, I'm sure your parents saying they loved you and they taught you, use your gifts to help people. My parents taught me a different lesson. They taught me make the world make sense. And I love the way he delivers that. I'm filled with so much hate and anger and like his regret over his life.
Right.
And right here, though, okay, so now the aforementioned moment is upon us, folks. Lois Lane's making her grand star-studded entrance. Someone rolled the red carpet for her.
Yeah, just the most convenient timing in the world for Lois Lane.
Yeah, I'm going to take note of your thing about Martha. I just want to see that. I never really picked up on. I want to see that. I mean, I know it was just good acting on. It's kind of
just take note. Like as soon as Clark says Martha, there's a really subtle change in Affleck's face, and that's like the one moment out of the scene that I really appreciate.
And that's where they could do the hand moment right there if they they wanted to homage the book. But it's fine. It's a little thing. It's it would have been kind of cool. Letting him kill Martha. Okay, I'm gonna get a look here. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, you see it.
That's good.
Yeah, and like I said, I was like, okay, I can kind of get into it, but it's honestly when Batman starts screaming that I'm like, he kind of starts going into this Christian Bale Batman a little bit. Yeah.
I love how he plays the conflict of when he stops. Like right here, it's like kind of flashing.
Exactly.
This is all good. And again, you get the great film ring on it. Let me say my thing on Martha. So with the look, Martha in concept could have worked. Now you would have to rework some things, but here's what would have made the Martha thing great and worked. At the very least, made it work. Look, the Martha thing in concept, what they're trying to communicate, I think would have strengthened it much more. Is that if Batman only killed, if Batman was contemplating his one kill after all these years, you had that great scene where he's saying, the one, I'm the same age as my father was sequence.
Mm-hmm.
If Batman's one kill ever was supposed to be Superman, and he stopped after the Martha thing would have reminded him that, he's, oh my God, he's got a mother, and who, heck, even shares the same name. And what was I thinking? If it was only like something like that, just the mention of like him coming to his senses, like he's acting this scene right now. What I'm going for here is like he was acting like, what was I thinking? This is like, how could I be so wrong? Again, it plays completely out of nowhere, which is the problem. I'm saying,
whole "why did you say that name" thing is like honestly the moment where I just start cracking up. I'm sorry, it's genuinely amusing to me.
This is the potential of the Martha thing right here, just playing so conflicted, like he hates himself for even contemplating this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm saying I wish that was so Tiki. That could have been so. It could have been so good if it's like Batman's only one kill would be to kill Superman for the betterment of humanity, which we obviously the audience would be no, don't kill Superman, Batman. But just that if it's like his one kill he was then reminded, oh my God, he's not an alien, he's human. It's like what was I thinking?
But I mean, just the whole thing of like what would have happened if it would have been Mary Kent instead of Martha Kent? Would the whole fight have just continued? Would Superman be dead?
Well, I mean, again, if they play the way they should have played it against, like the idea of hearing a name of any kind just should have been enough. And I've been saying this for years, Tika, that, oh my God, do you ever notice that Martha, not to you, I'm saying for years, like, you ever notice that Martha, both Batman and Superman have the same mothers with the same name?
Exactly.
I'm at first, the first time I saw the movie, I kind of entertained, oh my God, they finally referenced that, but then I realized, oh wait, that's kind of the wrong time to reference that.
Oh yeah, perhaps I mean, like I said, it's like decades upon decades upon decades have been building to the ultimate cinematic clash between heroes. And what stops the fight, Dragon? What stops the fight?
Martha.
The fact that Batman and Superman have their mother shares the same first name.
Okay, this is nice though, right here. Where
just tell me, Dragon. Just tell me what would have happened if Martha wasn't the name of Martha Kent, if it was Mary Kent. Just what would have happened?
Well,
entertain that for me.
I'd like to think it would still have come through, but Martha just saved this woman. I like to think it'd still come through, but just given this Batman kills people, I don't know what to think. I tell you though, T, you see what I'm saying? I think if it was about one kill, I think that might have been much more effective.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, so we missed two really great bits there. Where one, I love it when he promises Superman Martha won't die tonight. Again, Martha thing notwithstanding, just the idea, I promise you another woman, another mother will not die tonight. Seriously, that's a good moment. And then I love it. This was added for the Ultimate Edition, by the way. He says, "Alfred, you complete me." that was nice. Like, no, sorry. He says, "Alfred, I don't deserve you." That was a great line where he says that.
Yeah.
So again, it's Alfred. He listened in on the whole Martha conversation. By the way, that's what they implied. Just the idea that Bruce is now coming around from since the Martha thing, and now he's kind of realizing, Alfred, you were right all along, buddy. And he says, "Yeah, I don't deserve you, Alfred." Yeah, it's nice. And Alfred's getting to do some action stuff too. Here too, he's piling.
Yes, he is.
And then again, it's like but again, Martha could have worked, but they like how great would it have been then in the aftermath saying, "Oh, well, what's your mother's name?" Martha also. Something along the lines of,
okay, you see, that would have been great. That would have been great if the fact that, like, literally, Dragon, you absolutely understand my point, right? Where the whole problem with it is like if it was any other name, I'm not saying that that's the way it would have went down. I'm just saying that's the way it actually plays in the movie.
Yeah. Okay, but right now we got the awesome kind of very Arkham game-esque Batman action scene here. Oh my God.
This might be the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, but I'm still in conflict with bits because I wish he didn't kill people in this fight because it's so cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, look, I could give it a buy because I'm used to the source of that.
It's easier to swallow than the other scene. You got to admit that.
It is, but remember, this version is the more violent version, so watch what happens.
Yeah.
So right now, when he flings the crate at the guy, it looks really cool. But they added this for the Ultimate Edition, where again, I think also it might be a little bit of blood on that guy. But the point is, when he throws the crate at the guy's head kind of hits the wall, and you see a blood spatter behind it. Like, right, and again, see bits like this, Tiki. For Dark Knight Returns as Batman, I give him credit for like, okay, well the guy, every time you pull out a grenade, you're taking your life in your own hands. All right, so that's on that guy. I used to be able to excuse in the theatrical cut, but rewatching, he's like, yeah, I mean, some of these are definitely kill shots.
Yeah.
But right here, though, first of all, I love that bit right here when he hits the. Ooh, see the blood spatter on the wall and slides. Oh, God, that's not nice. And I love that they're using the Daredevil logic, by the way, of the Netflix show, where the black parts are the most protected parts of Batman's armor here. And that's
I can't
why
believe KG Beast is still alive, by the way.
Well, no, KG Beast is in the other room.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, I can't believe he's still alive.
Okay.
Is he not? I'm sorry. I missed it.
KG Beast is in the other room, He's not even with these guys. So, the point is, we get a lot of really cool Batman actions. Not really many ways to explain that. Just, it's really, you really need, again, the kind of the Daredevil protected black parts thing. That's why, the black parts are knife proof, but not the gray parts, and that's why he gets stabbed in that scene. But he really takes it personally, as we see with this guy. And as Kevin Smith has pointed out, after he stabs, and this is added for the Ultimate Edition apparently, he does something unmentionable to his gonads that we don't.
Oh God!
Looks like he punches him below the belt.
Yes.
But again, it cuts abruptly, so we have no idea what happened. We see Batman's really ticked off at him. You stabbed me. Yeah. And again, now this part, and Snyder's just screwed this up in the interviews. I don't know why. I swear, I was like when I was telling people about my
Snyder did not do himself any favors when he went on his whole press tour defending this movie. I'll say that right now.
With the exception of the flamethrower, this scene is directly from the book here. He bursts through the wall. He has the guy with the long gun, exactly like that gun, and Batman shoots like. In the animated film, the better version of it, he shoots like one round to the guy's hand, so he lets go. So it's not even Batman pulling the trigger; he makes the other guy pull the trigger.
Right.
And again, it saves a young child. Here, it's a little different, but for one, he takes a chance he can get over to her in time. Secondly, he blows a guy up with fire. So again, if he had a giant gun, he could just shoot him in the hand and shoot his hand off with a few rounds. And this bit's adorable, but again. Out of context, it's fantastic. In context, I almost killed your son was missing from that conversation. But again, seriously, now Tiki, and also Kevin Smith's
would have been a great moment for the Justice League movie. I feel like they did this moment one movie too soon.
Now, aside from Lois Lane doing something really stupid there, Kevin Smith pointed out something really sweet.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Kevin Smith pointed out something really adorable that I never thought of, and I love it so much in the Ultimate Edition, is that after when we have that great scene where that says, I'm a friend of your son's, I figured the cape, which is adorable, is that, again, out of context, is adorable. The fact that afterwards in the edition up here, basically, she's really friendly towards Batman. The idea that Batman saved her and that he is saving he didn't grow up with a mother, and this is kind of a way to Batman have his mother back in some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice, It's like him bonding with Martha Kent because he has a Martha in his life now that is, he lost his Martha. And it's kind of nice. And the fact that she likes him too, she waves off to him when he leaves. It's really sweet. It is. Tell me it is. Come on. It's like the closest thing.
You're right. I have no problem with the actual Martha Kent in this movie. I have a problem with the way that she's used, but I don't have a problem with her. I think Diane Keaton was spot on casting, and she's adorable. You're right.
I think it's so sweet that Batman in some way kind of found his mother again, in some small way. It's kind of nice. Anyway, so
I just wish the whole Batman versus Superman fight didn't depend on it.
Yeah. A lot of chaos in Metropolis tonight.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, Dragon, this whole Doomsday thing is where I still kind of just phase out.
I actually had a thought about another way to fix Doomsday. They technically could have done that. I think about it. It might have been kind of cool. What if instead of Doomsday, Zod became Bizarro Superman?
Oh, that would be like a lot better.
Yeah, kind of a gray skin, vaguely Doomsday-esque. Yeah, he's gray skinned and he's definitely kind of monosyllabic, but still, he still has a hatred towards Superman, and it's more of a Zod-like figure instead of being a giant monster. It'd be like basically.
There's literally like almost no difference between this and the Lord of the Rings cave troll.
Well, like I don't know what that looks like, so I don't.
Well, okay, yeah, you don't know what it looks like. It looks like this, Dragon. It looks like this. Trust me.
And this is a nice bit here, though. I like Superman saves Luthor, even though really Luthor's a pain in his butt here, as Superman would do. But like right here, like Luthor's creating his own doomsday, really, because he's about to punch and kill Luthor here. Superman stops it.
Mm-hmm.
See, right there, showing how nice a guy Superman is. And again, I wish they thematically did a little more with this, because again, it should be the idea of making Zod Doomsday is a good idea. Again, I think Bizarro Superman might have been a little simpler.
I think Bizarro is a much better idea, because Doomsday, I think, is a character that could have stood on its own without Zod.
Honestly, when I was picturing kind of the Man of Steel franchise, I always assumed Doomsday being the third one, not the second one.
Sure. Right.
I was really hoping for Metallo in the second, but then Age of Ultron kind of threw a wrench in that one, quite literally. Anyway, because they were contemplating using Metallo, but then they didn't want to have another. Back when it was coming out in 2015, not 2016, it was going to be Metallo, and Metallo would have been awesome, because that's a villain Batman can fight where Superman cannot, because they work so well together.
Right.
Anyway. But I like the idea, first thing they smash is practically the statue. I mean, that's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good touch.
Then again, I wish they just play more on the idea this is Superman's comeuppance for what he did for killing Zod. And again, now he's facing something that's about to kill him. That's such a good idea, but...
There's virtually no thematic ties to Zod whatsoever with this thing. It's like, it might as well just not be Zod.
It's such a missed opportunity. And by the way, you know who voices the president, don't you?
Who? Patrick
Wilson from,
Does he? Nice,
yeah.
Nice.
Patrick Wilson, the Night Owl from Watchmen.
Uh-huh.
This is added. Here are Gotham cops from earlier, and this is a bit where she waves the Batman. It's all adorable and nice. It's like little tip of the hat to towards Farmiga would do. A little tip of the hat. See, look at that. It's like, hey.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. I don't mean a good old mushy. I'm saying
no, it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, Martha Kent is adorable. It's just I wish that the plot didn't hinge on her so much.
And again, Turkish Airlines, folks. Remember?
Oh God! Oh dear God!
Remember all of that around the Super Bowl? We had Luthor as a fan of Turkish Airlines, but importantly and more awesomely,
I don't think anyone's more of a fan of Turkish Airlines than Zack Snyder himself. Because according to Zack Snyder, Turkish Airlines is just like the ultimate brand to represent DC. It's like there's no better correlation between DC and the real world than fucking Turkish Airlines.
The fact that Wonder Woman's on a plane is kind of funny. Now, this I hated with Doomsday. Look, I'll take a Doomsday, all right? I'll take a Doomsday. Here's why I draw a line. A discotheque Doomsday. People have called him discotheque Doomsday, and they're right. It's overcrowding the frame, it's a lot of... And when later on, I got to question how Batman's alive during these fights, because he just does this little implosion bomb, killing destroying buildings around him, yet Batman ducks behind a little structure, and he's alive. I don't get it.
It's not because of the armor?
You saw what that did.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I would say the armor, just in the context of, it's a comic book movie, would be the explanation.
I'm saying, giant... Remember, he's just in the regular Batsuit later on.
Okay, fair enough. It's just the regular Batsuit.
Now, this is cool. This is... Everyone for years have been saying, why didn't Superman try this with Doomsday? They finally did this. This is cool. Superman fighting Doomsday while throwing him into the sun. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was a good idea. It's a really cool visual thing.
Exactly, and this, and again, kind of, I guess they're homaging the Africa stuff earlier, and they're calling back the Africa
stuff. I really like the scale between Doomsday and Superman.
Yeah. And here I think they're referencing kind of earlier on with the addition of the director's edition here, where the government kind of played the incidental bad guy when they're almost about they fired a missile at a village which would have killed Lois Lane. Here they're firing a missile that would kill Superman. Exactly.
Right, I caught it.
And again, it seems more of a hindrance. Again, the government just really stopped with the nukes and the missiles at people that are friendlies.
I think this government is friends with the men in the poorly lit rooms who secretly control the universe from Marvel movies.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean that was like an alien invasion all in one place. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I mean, it's so cool that he was dragging him out in the space, and that was cool. And I like how we can see the lights from down here. And Batman's like going, "Oh God, it's just what's happening here?" Also, we kind of missed the Alfred had a really great line. Just says like, "How best to describe it?" You know, just how best to describe what was going on. Because Alfred was like, he has no words. And then, okay, so now she gets the idea. Okay, hey, remember that spear I ditched?
Oh God,
I'm gonna go get it.
oh fucking A. Like what? What is the point of that? What is it just to give Amy Adams more screen time?
It's honestly, I think they're. This is gonna sound insane. Honestly, they're trying to reference the Superman '78 film, where Lois is in peril and Superman has that realization. Oh my God, Lois is in trouble.
Right, right.
I wonder if that's. No, Snyder doesn't have any attention to good Superman films.
God.
And now this is from the comics. This is absolutely what Doomsday does. I mean, this is a good thing to see again with the bones coming out. And unfortunately,
right. I remember you mentioning that in the spec. Yeah.
Yeah, he adapts when he gets killed. So basically, he cannot be killed by a nuke again. But still, I hate all this crap on. Like again, he's all this electricity and the energy.
The look is just not good, man. It's just not a good design at all. It's not. It's very generic.
Yeah.
It looks fake. It looks like 2007 era CGI. In all honesty,
I was amazed to see this. By the way, amazed to see Zombie Superman from Dark Knight Returns. Oh my! Couldn't believe they did that. It was awesome. Yep.
Right.
Yep. What are you saying? I'm saying you killed the only thing we had to stop this thing, you prick. No re-election for you.
Could have had a V8.
Yep. By the way, when if an R-rated cut, we had an unnecessary F-bomb we kind of glazed over with Scoot McNairy's character with Wally
Which
earlier.
would absolutely not give the film an R rating in any sort of context.
Again, because you're allowed one, but superhero films tend to be afraid of using the
unless Clark Kent was. I'm sorry, BlueDragonFive. I'm sorry for being coarse, but just using as an example, unless Clark Kent is like, "Hey, Jimmy, I'm gonna go fuck Lois Lane tonight."
Yes,
that is the example of the fuck that you can't use. But
yeah. But right here, everyone was speculating which curse word Batman's going to use in this scene coming up here, and no, the one they used, they still got in there. That's fine. I'm saying, imagine if in the R-rated cut, just to make the R-rated cut entertaining.
I so wish that would have happened, man.
I'm saying if you're gonna use your one F-bomb that you didn't use, and you're still calling it R-rated because there's one F-bomb, literally. Because the violence isn't even that bad in this. So I'm saying the violence.
No, it's not. There's no reason why this should be R. No,
the point is
no reason at all.
Because they just want to say, "Hey, it's Superman. It's edgy. It's rated R."
Exactly.
But again, DC doesn't know what they're doing with the R ratings. But my point is, again, how awesome would it be just to take advantage of an R-rated cover Batman says he uses the F-bomb? Because kids aren't going to watch the R-rated version if you did an actual R-rated version per se. So if you're going to use an F-bomb, oh, blank. Right here, Doomsday shows up. Well, I'm a goner. But then, here we go, with an awesome score accompanying her grand debut, full head-to-toe costume, not in a photograph, but in live-action glory. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, folks. I present to you. And she does the bracelet thing, which has a lot more impact than I expected, but that's cool.
I would say this was probably one of the biggest applause moments in the theater for me.
Yes. And then this is cool. Just the beginning of our fight. Then Superman just comes out of left field just when Doomsday's about to attack, and then he gets that. Now we have the three of them are back, and they're getting ready to face the monster here. Meanwhile, Lois is doing stuff. That shouldn't have any bearing on the plot whatsoever, right? So, But again, I like Batman's trying to call the rationale here. It does feel kind of contrived, but just him saying like again showing Batman somewhat cares. At least he cares now after the whole Martha thing. Is that he's saying the port's abandoned, and everyone's fine, despite Doomsday kind of like a thing. It's essentially a nuclear bomb in a town.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool though. Finally, our three guys are finally here after so many years. Both of them are in their 70s technically.
Right.
It's awesome. The famous Trinity themselves here have killed things from other worlds. Again, Wonder Woman is the person you want in this fight, and it's the big question: is she with you? And I thought she was with you.
That's such a dumb line. It's such a obviously she's with Bruce. Why would she not be with Bruce?
Yeah, well, I mean,
why? Give me one reason why she wouldn't be with Bruce.
I mean, I know why he's saying it. It's a stupid reason. I'm just saying he's saying it because he thinks she's a meta-human on the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously Wonder Woman is there because of her connection to Batman. I mean, Batman has been the person like making the doing all the interaction with Wonder Woman. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent. Going off on a tangent.
It's in there because it's in the trailer and got to laugh in the trailer, and then they found out, oh wait, it doesn't work in context, and then they just kind of realized, let's just leave it.
It didn't work in the trailer, and it didn't work in context. It's just
it vaguely works in the trailer. Come on, vaguely works in the trailer.
Nah, I didn't know. I didn't think it did.
It's a general audience laugh.
So it's kind of like the whole like, oh, Superman's so hot.
Maybe. I don't know.
Which, by the way, I still think that's the most cringeworthy moment in like Zack Snyder's entire filmography.
Okay, come on. I mean, Sucker Punch, dude. Come on, get a whole Sucker Punch. Come on.
I avoid Sucker Punch.
Exactly.
So,
can't make that.
Zack Snyder's entire DC filmography, all right?
All right, fine. You gotta specify it, man. You gotta specify it.
Cringeworthy. Absolutely cringeworthy. Anyways.
I got some cool action going on here. And again, I love the idea, again, with kind of Zombie and Doomsday. I love the idea of giving him heat vision through the eyes and the mouth there. Because, again, that's what was a big thing in that fight with him and Superman. Again, it's the inkling of something calling back the Man of Steel, but again, kind of overridden by you have like this whole energy thing coming at him, which is ridiculous. But sorry, I don't mean to rant. I'm just saying that's so stupid. Again, any Doomsday stuff is completely ruined by the fact that now it's just he's not even resembling Zod anymore. It's just completely
no, absolutely not even
like
close.
Doomsday never had this power either. He never had the power to the heat vision. I'll give him because of Zod, but he never had the power to like absorb energy and like put it out like that.
right.
Because I mean, I like that now. I've come around on like when he kills Superman, it is homaging the comic because they killed each other, and it's in a more similar manner than I gave it credit for, because it's like it's like the two of them literally like the final blow thing is kind of what killed them in the comics. So it's kind of like the final blow is identical, that they're both impaling each other on something. Yep, and yeah.
Just Lois, just being, I don't know.
Honestly, a part of me kind of wishes Batman saved her.
I would have been down for that.
Yeah, I remember Batman's he's on the sidelines for the majority of this.
How many times Clark saves Lois Lane like 3 times in this movie? That's too many. That's too many. She's a damsel.
Yeah, this is the 3rd time. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a damsel. She's a classic damsel in distress. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And this is kind of silly. Superman diving for the. And look, I love this scene with Batman because I love the grappling gun. I just love how quick Batman is in the moves. And there's Dark their return shot. Lightning. And this is cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this, and I think this is cool. It's just Batman's evading because that's what Batman would do in this fight. But I think it'd make more sense for him to kind of find Lois and find the Kryptonite Spear.
Yeah,
it's his own mess. I mean, he created the Kryptonite Spear. I think it'd be on him to find it, not Superman. And again, speaking of which. Back into the fray, find the Kryptonite. Not a good move for Superman. But I would figure either Wonder Woman or Batman, again, how it should have ended suggests that Batman should make the finishing move, which I would love. I don't know about anyone else, but I would love that. But point is, Wonder Woman or Batman should have delivered the final blow over Superman. But again, you get kind of the whole, they killed each other.
Well, I don't know, Dragon. I honestly think that with the additional stuff that we get with Superman's character, I feel like I still think it was a little bit rushed that they killed Superman, but in the context of this movie, at least, not in the context of the grander DC universe, but just this movie, I think that moment's earned within this director's cut.
Oh, we had a great moment where Wonder Woman just kind of gave that smile, like, oh, yeah.
That's everyone's favorite Wonder Woman moment, absolutely.
I'll tell you this, though. I mean, look, I guess I was a little harsh on it earlier on, but you know what? Again, now I'm starting to come around, and now I'm talking about it. You know, the idea that, I like the idea that Superman, his death brings about what he wanted in life. That's an interesting idea. And I'll admit, it's more support than I'm giving it credit for. So maybe that one does come full circle. Again, the death I'm a little more high on than I was before.
I like the sacrifice angle. I like how this is all staged. It's very well realized. It's very clear to the audience what Superman has to do.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll give it more credit. I think you've kind of convinced me on that one.
Okay, good.
I mean, I know one thing though. I've always loved the death of the world without Superman section of this film,
which I think is definitely. And I also think we're going to get a lot more of that in Justice League as well. At least probably the first half of Justice League, or at least the first act.
Well, we have a bit of it in Suicide Squad.
Right.
Very a little hint at it, which is kind of nice. Hey, so. Yeah, right here, here's the finishing move here, and again, Superman killing Zod again. I still wish there was a bit of that whole. It's like almost as if Superman learned nothing. But again, now in this version, we have more context of why it's more about his death versus like his what happened to the end of Man of Steel, which is kind of the best scene in this movie. Again, the ending of Man of Steel.
Yeah, right.
Again, you think they would bring it all full circle if he feel bad about killing Zod, but he felt bad about killing Zod, but here it's like I wish there was more Zod in Doomsday. That's all.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I don't personally have a problem with him killing Doomsday, because Doomsday has zero personality whatsoever.
I mean, sure, that's fine. I'm just saying, if you have the Zod thing, I don't know, but you're right. I mean, the fact they kill each other just like they kill each other in the comics, that's a good homage there. Poor Sarah. I was so hoping he was going to blink in the theater, but then he got killed. No blink. He's a goner. So eerie, though. Oh, poor Superman. And again, you do feel more for him in this version, because again, they sell you on now how bad he feels. Again, I wish there weren't so many obvious solutions. He just needs to get in front of a camera, but that doesn't factoring all that out of there. Though this does feel like a really severe loss, though. You do feel it.
And it's not like, oh, fuck, okay, I did not, okay, we're going down this route. Like, basically, Dragon, all I felt when I saw this in the theatrical cut was, oh, okay, they're doing the thing from the comics. Whoop-de-doo. You know what I mean?
It feels last minute in a 2-hour and something version, but with, extra time where it's long going into it, I think that's why it's more acceptable, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
It's now they're going to have more time to kind of seed in. And, again, I think with the Ultimate Edition, it's basically it hinges upon you having seen the film before. Now you're going to see hopefully a perfected version of the film. So you're kind of hoping you have a second experience is guaranteed. So you have all the memories of the regular version with you when you're going into this. Hopefully. Yeah,
and I got to tell you, every time they did focus on Clark and his humanity and not being the mopey asshole. I was driven in, I very much had that experience where it's like, oh, okay, seeing Superman in this light, I do kind of feel bad that he's going to die at the end.
Because remember, the problem with theatrical is we saw every Superman scene was in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Get scenes that are not in the trailers, and that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of turned Superman in the theatrical cut into a bit of a running joke. I'm sorry, I keep using this phrase. Mopey asshole is the best way I could describe it.
There's a cool Batman show.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a great thing coming up here. You feel
it's really quick. It kind of passed, but I love Lois Lane and Wonder Woman kind of silently acknowledging each other.
Yeah. That's a powerful shot. And here we do get the link in the Ultimate Edition. We do get. Oh, I'm sorry, that hasn't happened yet. But we're going to see this setup for Justice League come up. So we're going to see a motive. We're going to see basically the motivation for creating Doomsday was during Luthor's arrest here, as he's kind of caught in a bunch of Jello, or baked beans, whichever you want to go with. The little Jello squares, those little squares of Jellos they serve at lunches and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he's stuck in. It looks like.
Oh god.
Point is, like, either that or cranberry sauce. I don't know, something. Look at this guy right here. So this is Steppenwolf. This is our bad guy for Justice League.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
essentially is Darkseid. He's Darkseid's minion. So he's kind of like I told you, Ronan the Accuser.
I'm not thrilled for this guy right off the bat. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on, I thought you liked Ronan. I thought you came around Ronan a little bit.
I just think the idea of having like the henchman character is just.
Well, I'm sure Darkseid's going to be. I'm just saying he's going to be doing some legwork in the first one.
Yeah.
Anyways, then we have the shaving of Luthor, which is also added with a little towel move coming up.
Again, he should have had the whole the wig thing. I think would have been a much better idea.
Now, okay, so following the Luthor bit here, we do see, and there's some added stuff just to feel the loss of Superman even more, because we saw this part, but like later on we have kind of we see the Daily Planet is going to Clark Kent's funeral, which we did miss out on in the theatrical cut, and we also see like everyone, the whole world's kind of in mourning. It was an homage to the JFK, and then people felt when Superman died in the comics, people did they played it like the JFK funeral.
Okay, is there any explanation for how Clark Kent dies?
Well, yeah, it's right here. It says we missed one of our own, and basically he disappeared. It says basically he disappeared in Gotham. They assume he was killed by violent crime.
Okay.
There's some. I know it passed, but there was a reference like he got killed in Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's probably the explanation
for the Gotham battle.
Yeah, killed in the So like, right here, these little shots of like everyone's in mourning. They're either at the Metropolis funeral or the Daily Planet at the mourning their own, right? Clark Kent's funeral.
Right.
And it does feel really sad. And I'll still say again, out of context, I like this a lot more. But in context now, I think it still plays well.
Mm.
Like on the old edition, it plays well in context, but out of context, still, this is a beautifully shot funeral. And again, the death of Superman, the world without Superman, basically the funeral stuff onward, the middle chunk of that book. That was the best section of that story. Just seeing the world in mourning of a hero we all love. That's what made you care about Superman. A lot of people's first story was the death of Superman, and just the care for real. Basically, they didn't realize how much they loved Superman until he was going. I love this, but this is an addition here. See Pete Ross, and we see that is the priest that in Man of Steel he confessed to about what do I do about the Zod problem.
Right.
And I love the little notion that he presides over Clark and Superman, and he out of all of them knows that he was Superman. Which I think is nice, and I love the music they play here. It was in the Lois Lane thing coming up, but they moved it to here, and I think it's still because they put more importance on Martha in this version,
which is a good idea. I mean, it still doesn't fix the problem, like I said, but
I'm just saying. And they basically what they do is they play the Lois Lane scene without any music, just to kind of hint at kind of like the kind of the sadness going on there. Which either version is like they're both sad. I'm just saying sad in different ways. But again, this really does. I mean, we need Tiki. Give me a Vera Farmiga quote, would you?
It's so sad. I'm so sad.
It is, and now let me tell you, I have a even greater appreciation after I saw the Ultimate Edition because I adored it hit upon me, and I love how this works. That we begin the movie with a funeral, and we end it with a funeral.
That's true.
I love that.
That's very true.
I love how it comes full circle, and I love kind of Bruce Wayne's response to that we do have a really great bit here towards the end, seeing when you factor in Bruce Wayne's response to we started this whole thing at a funeral, the death of his parents. You'll notice some shots in the funeral do mirror even the death of his parents.
I did notice that, yeah.
Like the shell on the ground when they fire like the smoke can or something, like the big shell that drops on the ground is the shell from when he shot his mother. And again, it's a powerful one, folks. I mean, it's right here. The shell's about to come. Well, another little cannon thing. And this is directly from the comic. I mean, there were more superheroes walking the street in the comic, but he had like a really kind of a Kennedy funeral right here.
Of course.
And the American flag, and I love Wonder Woman's line coming up when she says they only know how to honor him as a soldier because he's more than a soldier, Superman. And like I feel so appropriate that Wonder Woman would have that line, because she's seen soldiers get buried, she's seen warriors get buried, Amazon, she's seen all sorts of people get buried. And I love seeing like the Daily Planet staff and everything kind of follow kind of a grief-stricken Lois and Martha. It's nicely populating the world of Superman. Yeah, and of course, and this too. I mean, again, whether you like the hotline or not, is the idea of Carol Ferris and the idea of General Sandwick and Carol Ferris, who is a Green Lantern character, by the way. Remember, she's Green Lantern's girlfriend.
Hmm.
The idea of those two are also at Superman's kind of publicized funeral because they had a connection to him too because they saved the Metropolis together in Man of Steel, which is it feels really nice and kind of full circle,
Sure.
Superman impacted all of their lives, and now we're mourning. Yeah. And the fact that it looks to me that Swanwood gets to have the flag too, which I think it's kind of telling. It's kind of nice. This might be me though, but there's the shell. And there's the father again. There's the father that knew Superman better than anyone. He technically the events of the events of Man of Steel don't get started without that guy because he goes to him for advice, saying, what should I do about that? Well, you should you do what you think is right.
I probably should have rewatched Man of Steel before this, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm just saying,
put some things into context because I completely forgot this guy was in Man of Steel.
Yeah. Well, I know it's the scene everyone says leads to the Jesus out here, which in the theater I never caught, but then people point out, he's right behind some stained glass of Jesus. And little Pete Ross here, again, also Superman's friend, bully, then turned friend. And this is a great line that they put in here, Tiki. They just went over, is that the funeral was paid for anonymously. And the idea of Martha Kane says, I'm going to get my checkbook. And Bruce Wayne did that nice thing. He paid for the funeral. Yeah,
of course.
Not only does he feels responsible, but also because he's Bruce Wayne. And again, it's right here it's the idea of Bruce Wayne sees this funeral, he sees all this tragedy again, and it's all the leaves are falling just like the beginning. It's look on Affleck's face there. You just see the pain and the memories flowing through him of seeing someone go through that loss like he did. And again, he blames himself deeply for the death of Superman. Just saying, just the way he says, "I failed him in life, I won't fail him in death." And again, the notion they're going for is a good notion that Superman has brought not only the world hope, but he's brought Batman hope, and that's why he's going to lighten up from the Dark Knight Returns era Batman and get back more to the classic Batman. That's a good idea. I just wish he didn't kill people in the middle, which would make it a lot better.
Yeah.
I just wish it was more brutality than killing, but the message still comes across either way that now he will stop killing or stop being excessively brutal going forward, as we see in Suicide Squad, which is really.
Do you think we've already speculated on this a little bit, but do you think that the solo Batman movie perhaps will be what drove Batman to get to the point where he is killing people?
Well, you and I, you're right. You and I did speculate this, and I hope that's the case.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be an interesting way to go with it. It at least kind of retroactively justify it in a way.
At the very least, what gets him to the point where he's super brutal to the point where he just doesn't care anymore. Right. I don't want it to be direct murder, but at least be kind of like direct recklessness. Mm-hmm. And I would hope linked to Robin. I would really hope linked to Robin. That's what I speculate.
I would be kind of shocked if the solo Batman movie wasn't in some way tied to Death in the Family.
Okay, I love this, by the way. This is nice, and part of me would like to think Batman wrote this, but I can't prove that, so I have no idea. So I love this. This is nice here. If you seek his monument, look around you. They have the classic, the Man of Steel Superman theme playing. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's a good kind of message of the world uniting in the face of tragedy. I'm sorry. I really like the color scheme here. I'm sorry. Forget it.
Anyway, so when with the death of Superman, the negative is that when Superman eventually comes back, he'll be kind of like forget all the stuff because he's back. You just forget all the turmoil, like the old little paranoia about Superman. We love the guy.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure it's going to be that cut and dry. I think there's going to be.
I think
when Superman comes back, there's going to be factions. I think a lot of humanity is going to be glad to see him return, especially if it's in the wake of a big threat. I also think there's going to be some people that, like this crazy bananas wacko right here who's not going to like the news so much.
Well, I'm saying I think the majority of people are going to ease off about the property damage, but still, you're right. You want to have kind of your Suicide Squads and so on and so forth be still in preparation for Superman. Oh, two things. The Ultimate Edition added two really great moments to the scene. One, I love the little reference to Luthor's prison number is AC 231940, and that's Action Comics number 23, 1940, Luthor's first appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiki, I lost it so much. I was so happy. I know how simple it sounds. I know how silly it sounds, but they basically, when Luthor here threatens to expose that he's Bruce Wayne, but who believe me, I'm crazy, can't even stand trial. When he says, when Batman, as Ben Affleck Batman says Arkham Asylum, I lost it.
I'm honestly kind of shocked they didn't put that in the theatrical version. You would think that that'd be a good kind of like, we'll see you in the sequel, folks. You know what I mean?
I think there is trepidations about putting Luthor in Arkham. I don't know.
Fair enough, but I mean, I like the idea of Luthor in Arkham. I mean, I'm sure it's happened in the comics before, but it doesn't seem like a regularly treaded plot line for Luthor. Like, it's something different for Luthor to go through.
No, Luthor's never been in Arkham, but I love this.
He's never been in Arkham in the comics, really.
Remember, he's not technically crazy. He would never.
No, I know. I just the character has a long history. What can I say?
Anyway, so I love this though. Just Batman saying we have people that can help the mentally disturbed like yourself, hospitals to help people with that. So you're not going there. Good hospitals like that. You're not going there. You're going to Arkham. Friends in Gotham. I assume by friends he means like Two-Face and a whole bunch of other inmates that are miserable experience for him. And again, the fact they did not brand Luthor suggests that Batman is changing for the better, less brutal because of Superman.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's the ding, 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 ding. And what he's doing there, Tiki, is he's basically saying to him, ding dong the god is that per Steppenwolf's, I assume it's that he killed Superman so that he'll score some points with the new gods that are going to invade the Earth. So basically, he killed Superman, he cleared the way. So when these guys invade, basically he was driven insane when he looked at the Brainiac style information, all these sorts of planets. Knew these gods are coming. I killed gods, so now I'm going to have standing over whoever shows up. And he makes the ding 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 noise. Is that's the sound. That's the sound the mother box makes. That's why he's going. That's why he's making that ridiculous noise. It's like ding 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 ding.
I wish they would have explained that a little better, because as of now it just seems like quirky Eisenberg.
Because it makes like 5, 4, and 5 dings. That's like the pattern of the dings. It's ridiculous. It's the and
almost done.
When Bruce Wayne walks there, it's like the tragedy of Bruce Wayne continues with the death, but Superman resurrecting kind of equates to there's still some hope for the world and a little hope for Batman. It's the idea, Batman. The idea Bruce Wayne walks out like another death. I'm responsible for it. I feel so bad. He's walking away, and you think, okay, well, there's more. Batman goes on with his tragedy against Superman, as he does best. Even after death, he brings hope, as he should.
Okay, now do you think we needed the whole dirt moving thing? Do you think that was necessary?
I mean, we all know he's coming back. It's a little hopeful note to go out on. It's like, it's.
I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, here's the big logic question. I'm going to address this while we'll kind of end, I guess, during the credits, because it's probably long credits.
It's a good 10 minutes of credits, yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I got to question this, though. I don't know how they're going to bring this version of Superman back. I don't know what the explanation is going to be, because it doesn't really go the way we see him. You have to question, why doesn't Zod come back to life? Because that was 18 months.
That's true. They're definitely going to have to work that in logistically into Justice League for sure.
I can't recall how Superman exactly came back. I believe it was like his body goes into stasis and eventually will heal itself, like a 17-month period.
Right. It's kind of like a cocoon style process.
Yeah, but without the messiness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no idea how they're going to manage to bring him back. But we know he's going to come back, and probably in a black costume. I'm kidding. It's probably not a black costume.
I want to kind of do an over-under on this. Under an hour and a half into the Justice League movie does Superman make his first appearance?
Well,
not counting flashbacks.
Well, like given that they're not...
Like Superman coming back to life, under an hour and a half.
Well, see, given that they're not doing the... they're not... Oddly, before Marvel, coincidence? I think not. That they're not doing Part 1 and Part 2 Justice League. They're just doing Justice League and then a sequel. Much like Marvel's doing now with the Infinity War movie. Basically, if that were the case, I would say maybe Superman would be gone for the majority of that. I'll say... Okay, so you're saying before or after an hour and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say before an hour and a half, he'll be back.
I think it's probably going to be like maybe at the end of Act 1, perhaps. I don't know, though. It'd be interesting. It'd be kind of ballsy if they played it where he's sort of like the looming thing over the whole movie, you know? I would actually be really satisfied if they kept Superman out of the Justice League marketing entirely.
Yeah. Well, actually, with the Justice League marketing, I want to bring this up. I was just re-looking at some pictures of Aquaman. Just going to check if he had the A on his costume, which he does. I actually noticed, remember the whole Unite the Seven thing, which means there's still, this is good news, hopefully, that we still have a Justice League member who has not been shown in the marketing at all. We're still missing one member who, if we're lucky, will be a surprise member. Now, here's
that could be.
Well, we have two options. So, it says Unite the Seven. Seven, including Superman, would be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. That's 6 members. Okay, so our 2 members could be... Now, Shazam is a film that will be coming, but not in time for the Justice League film, unless they want to introduce him in that film. Otherwise, it would be the other member who will be getting a movie down the line, someone we're familiar with, Green Lantern, which I am hoping for.
What about... This is going to sound totally crazy, and you're probably going to shoot it down immediately. What about Harley?
No.
No. Yeah.
Harley? Are you serious? Harley? I just told you she may or may not be responsible for the death of Robin. You would put her on a team with Batman.
Yeah, I know.
But seriously, what do you think? You lean more towards Shazam or more towards...
I honestly think if it was Green Lantern, like Green Lantern just has so much mythology behind him that it'd be kind of hard to work in that character. I'd be more leaning towards Shazam. Shazam. Jesus.
Well, you know what? I'm actually going to pitch you this. I've been saying that maybe one of these days I'll go over maybe we'll go over some Justice League pitches pre the movie, pre the DC Extended Universe. Basically, something out of. And my point is, with the, I always had it planned that in the third act, the Green Lanterns just kind of come in as like a giant, awesome cameo. Like the whole Green Lantern Corps would just come in to save the day.
Yeah.
And I figure that perhaps how great would it be is like Green Lantern, the most infamous out of the DC cinematic attempts. The most infamous. And it'd be a case of like we don't have to go over the origin, kind of like Spider-Man Civil War. We don't have to go through the origin, just, it's a Green Lantern. They all have their own stories. And let's just assume, whether it be John Stewart, but let's just assume it's Hal Jordan. That's pretty usual. So, start with a familiar face, then the Green Lantern movie, we kind of bridge it out a little bit more. Start with someone we kind of know the gist of their origin. He's a pilot. He has the Green Lantern. The point is, we'll go through the movie like in the at some point the film just kind of is the surprise at the end of the third act of, hey, Green Lantern. And the point is then he's the 7th member, and then Superman will come in by middle or end of Act 2.
We'll see.
Anyway, so yeah, there's that. So yeah.
What about Plastic Man?
Nah.
Come on. What's wrong with Plastic Man?
We barely have gotten Mr. Fantastic off the ground. You want Plastic Man?
Yes, I want Plastic Man.
You want Plastic Man?
Yes, I do. Sue me.
I know a good lawyer.
Oh, God. Anyways.
And he's blind.
Okay, so we're getting into the very long visual effects credit. So, final thoughts on this before it fades to black for the last time?
Well, yeah, the Ultimate Edition is certainly superior to the theatrical cut, and you do care more about Superman, which you point out, which is very accurate. Again, I still love what I love in this film, and that, of course, the favorite scene, undeniably, is the 2 Bruce Wayne scenes at the beginning. Still, most as a Batman fan, delights me. Funeral scene is great. I mean, again, there are really good scenes in this film. I still wish it would just tied together a little more. I wish Batman didn't kill people. My problems with the film still remain. I'm a little more okay with sequences that I used to say were better out of context. I mean, they're tying together, weaving together better in the Ultimate Edition, but still, does not need to be R-rated. It's because there's barely anything R-rated in the film at all. It like some editions seem like a little just there. I guess in general, the additions don't seem like unnecessary. It just seems like, just they're trying to justify the unnecessary stuff they had in the first place, which is now making it necessary. But again, that's not detracting from the film, which is important. It doesn't hurt the film any, but it doesn't help the film as much as you like it to. But it helps it a little bit, which is good.
Yeah, I actually am. I honestly think I'm slightly more positive on this than you are, which, to tell you the truth, is kind of shocking. But no, honestly, like I said, I think the biggest strength of this movie, from the director's cut point of view, which I was really hoping for, was shifting the focus from Batman to Superman, and really kind of narrowing in on sort of the internal conflict going on with Superman. One of my big problems with the original Batman vs. Superman theatrical cut was Superman essentially being a mopey asshole, and I feel like that problem is solved. Like 90% of that problem is solved in this version. There's definitely still stuff wrong with this. Eisenberg's having the time of his life, but he's not Lex Luthor. Amy Adams, look, I guess I'm a little softer on Amy Adams than I was. I still just think it was a mistake to make her so central to the plot. The Martha thing, I'm honestly not mad at as much as I just find it funny to make fun of. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think this is an improvement. I do think it's a bigger improvement than you think it is, because I think it's a fairly significant improvement. It's like, I think this improves the film so much that I kind of have the film ranked twice on my list of films of the year, where the original theatrical cut is number 24 out of 25, and this is number 17 out of 25. So again, it's like, it's still not like in the top 10 of the year or anything like that. It's still probably, I'd still probably consider it a disappointment due to the potential that a Batman Superman movie could be. And I still think probably the biggest inherent mistake in this movie is the fact that it's so overly long and bloated, and yet we only get 7 minutes of Batman and Superman actually fucking fighting, which is just absurd. Like,
it just bothers me they don't even have a conversation with each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But no, I mean, like I said, I do think this is overall a fairly solid film, whereas the theatrical cut was just a mess. So that's about all I have to say. Anything else to take us out, Dragon? Now that we're finally done with that 3-hour odyssey that we just won.
Let me say this again. I think at its core, the film, it really should have been Superman's movie with Batman to help strengthen his arc. I still attest that. That's why I wanted this movie to go in. Mm-hmm. From the get-go, because basically they kept, as I mentioned in the background, the way at the very beginning, like the movie just kept adding to itself. It started as a Superman sequel, then they threw Batman in the mix, then Wonder Woman. Again, you can add those things as long as it still serves the story. It changed the core of what the story was intended to be.
I think when we got Cyborg being cast in this movie, it was kind of like, what the fuck are they doing?
And I mean, look. Again, this I don't want to sound too harsh on, because again, I for a long time I've usually been defending it against you before the director's cut came out.
I know, this is like such a weird change of pace now.
But I mean, look again. I don't want to sound as harsh as it seems like I'm coming across with this. I'm just saying there's still so many fundamental problems that are not helped with this. That's what bugs me. I want to love this film, I really do, but it just. They killed Jimmy Olsen. Batman's plowing through cars still. And basically, I wish if they just took some stuff out and they added scenes, like Batman, Superman talking, and they solved the glaring issues. I would have liked it more. I mean, I still, just because what they do so well, they do so right. I still would give it kind of like a firm 7 out of 10. I mean, before I was between like 6.5 and 7. Like every time I watch, is again, but the theatrical cut, I would still be wondering why I got lowered to 6.5, because I can't watch Batman kill people like that. And again, the Jimmy Olsen thing ticks me off. But then, I watch this and there's more investment on Superman. I raise it to a 7 out of 10, because I'm a nice guy and I like the Martha stuff. And again, not the Martha scene, but the Martha stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just. There's so many missed opportunities and there's so much potential. It's all a mixed bag. This film is the most mixed DC film I think I've ever seen. Right. But Man of Steel, I'm more high on Man of Steel. Majority.
I disagree with that. I actually think.
No. I mean, in that film, I'm more high on that stuff than I am mixed in that film itself.
Right.
I'm not comparing. I'm just saying with that film, I'm more solid on my more positive on that film than mixed. Here, I'm really mixed on it.
Okay.
But again, what I mixed on, what I love in this film, the good stuff is so good, so great, so fantastic. Anyway, points. Ultimate Edition, it was a worthy buy. You know, you got some good stuff, but still, fundamentally, it's always a mixed bag. But again, you get some excellent Batman stuff. Anyway, I've prattled on long enough.
Okay, folks, thanks for joining us, and if you've made it all the way through the end of it, guess what, Dragon? Guess what the audience gets?
Tell me.
They get Pearl points!
Yes!
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just gotta use it once, so, alright, thanks for joining us, and, hope you found something out of it. I will admit, probably, like, the last 45 minutes, my energy level kind of slipped a little bit, so I apologize for that. I know. I'm sorry. But, yeah, thanks for watching, and in the meantime, for God's sakes, if you have a mortal enemy who's trying to kill you, just pray to God that their mother has the same name as your mother. Have a good night, everyone.